Snowmobile Sessions Live on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms. It's the #1 destination to learn about snowmobiling, network with other sledders, and have an awesome time doing it. We'll meet other snowmobilers that share your passion and show your fan photos along the way. Snowmobile Sessions Live. Enjoy the ride.
Thanks for having us.
You handle that.
Okay. We'll have to give each other a knee tap. Who's taking it? We should sit there whacking it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, wireless microphone. That one. Check. That's it. True. Thank you. There we go. All right, so we're back. Glenn Green is on the right on my screen with the Cains Quest shirt on. Rob Pilgrim's to his right, which is our left when you're looking at him, closest to Drew here. They're the directors of Cains Quest, which is an amazing role. Tell us, like, what's it like to be a director? How did you guys get involved in it?
Well, for me, I started off as a fan. Came to Labrador City back in probably 2008 for work. I was in town for about a week doing some training, and the guys introduced me to this race that was going on, and I instantly was hooked. So got back to Corner Brook where I live, started telling everybody about it and kind of promoting the race a bit, and then just got dove deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole, so to speak. And one day I decided they were looking for directors, and I'm heavily involved in the snowmobile industry at home, so threw my name in the hat, and here I ended up.
Wild. And I did meet you at the Toronto Snowmobile Show. It was last year, I believe it was. You gave me a hat. It's still upstairs. I do wear it once in a while. I should have put it on for tonight. But yeah, it must have its fun times, but it must have its challenges as well.
Yeah. I mean, fun. Yeah. I mean, it's the most exciting thing that happens in Labrador. I mean, you're talking about a place where a snowmobile is not a recreational vehicle; it's a way of life. And
that's right.
There was a time on the north coast of Labrador when dog teams and snowshoes were how you made your livelihood, and now it's snowmobiles. And when you pull into town in any of these communities, it's pretty iconic. And the way these sleds are prepared, the level of preparedness, and the modifications they make to them. When they come in through the door, I mean, it's like a UFO just showed up in town, and it's equally interesting too, especially the kids and young people, and of course, knuckleheads like us too, right?
That's right. Do you guys yourselves set the route, or do you work with other people to do that? How does the route get decided?
Can I say that's my bag?
That is your bag.
Okay, so back in 2007, when the race was expanding, Todd and a group of folks here in Lab West had come up with some work. I was becoming well-versed in GPS technology. Garmin was starting to ascend, and the manipulation of the GPS information was becoming more popular, and I embraced that technology. And I was recruited to bring the race to another level to expand into Central Labrador, Northern Labrador after that, and then eventually Southern Labrador in the entire map. We even went as far as Kuujjuaq a couple of years. And I create, we discuss where we're going to go, but I create the GPS routes. We start the discussions with the Indigenous groups in the area, local community governments, and local communities to determine what's the best way to go, or which areas are no-fly zones. And I am an adventure snowmobiler in the backwoods, have a tight group of friends who spend a lot of time out there. And through that network, get the latest and greatest information on conditions and display that in a GPX file on a map, and we go from there.
And like, it's not trails, so how do you know, like, basically when you're setting up the route, if you're on private property, or is it mostly crown land there, or how does it
crown land, but also the Natsiavut land claim area and the Mushwenu land claim area as well. There's a national park. So, there is some consultation that we need to do to go through some of these areas. And, I'll be quite honest with you, when we first came up with this route, with this race, that was a bit of a question. Someday, will there be resistance? Will there be trouble? And we can only go around certain areas, restrictions. And it's been the 100% opposite. There have been a couple times when we've had to worry about winter in Labrador, which is what we never thought we'd have to worry about. And the Indigenous groups are just like, dude, come as much as you can and give me as much as I can handle. And it's been an excellent collaboration with all Labrador along those lines.
Yeah, and the Indigenous groups really help you out with the race a lot. Like a lot of the pictures you see online, they're at the checkpoints, they're volunteering for the medical tents and things like that. Like, they're lending a big part of helping hand.
Well, Labrador's Indigenous population, very strong.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are some of the challenges that you have when you're doing something like this?
Okay.
The court of public opinion, probably the worst one.
Is that right?
It's just, social media, it's we love it. I mean, how amazingly successful was the footage yesterday that we were harnessing from the chopper. I mean, Starlink in a helicopter, broadcasting live videos from a helicopter. I mean, there was times, just the last race, this stuff was coming out a day later, 3 days later, 4 days later, a week later. Now we're giving them the information when they're hungry. And that was a challenge in the past. Now it's just unbelievable how quickly this information can get out there. That's pretty nice. The downside of social media is you get people who don't read the rules and don't understand that you have freedom to navigate or strategize in certain areas, and they start to make posts. Why is this, or this guy used a hammer to clear the ice out of his tunnel, for example. And, well, that's cheating. And it sometimes builds like wildfire, especially if a certain team is seen as maybe a bit of a villain or to have more resources than others. So that's sometimes difficult to manage, but I think we've been pretty fortunate, Glenn. Yeah. I think most folks recognize just the positivity around the event in this area.
And using the social media too to educate people on what's going on, what's taking place, like explain to them as it's happening what's being done here and why it's this way. And I just went through some video today when I was doing some live feeds at the racers when they were leaving, just explaining what race marshals are looking for and getting people thinking outside the box that, like, yeah, a light bulb might not seem like a big deal, but when you're traveling late at night and you're fatigued and it's dark and your partner's ahead of you and their brake light's not working, that's a big deal. So it's those little things that, talking people through it and explaining to them what's happening and stuff and keep them engaged. And it's a new venture for us using live, especially from chopper, and it's been fun.
Yeah, that's awesome technology, man. Like, when you can have that instant feedback right to the viewers at home is really cool. Do you think that's going to help, like, publicize the race to the point where maybe mainstream TV might get on it, or a sports channel, or what's your plans on getting more exposure like that?
Well, the logistical side was always an obstacle you had to overcome. So we had to Starlink into helicopter. Our main priority was for emergency response. It was about getting hold of the helicopter quickly, having contact, and then we started thinking, okay, well, what if we do some Facebook Live and see how it works? And if it buffers or if it's jumpy or it doesn't work, well, we just won't do it. But it worked, and it worked beautifully.
and efficient planning.
Yeah, it's very efficient.
You imagine in a helicopter previously, we would send text messages over as some sort of satellite messaging medium and try to let them know where the racers are, try to direct them in the right way to get the footage. You might spend an hour in a helicopter chasing down a track, and you zoom in on Skipper cutting a load of wood for his cabin. Crap, that's not a racer at all, and you try to go somewhere else. And now they can literally in the helicopter have our Webby Races app up and look for the racers, home right in on them, and it's just far more efficient and the same if there's an emergency situation. The communication is real time, and you're on top of an injured racer or a stranded racer in minimum amount of time. We exercised that once already in this event, and it was incredibly successful.
And it's good for the fans as well, but even more importantly, it's good for the families.
Yeah,
their loved ones at one time were just a dot on a tracking screen, so now they're seeing from the helicopter, like their family team number is scooting down a lake somewhere, and they see they're okay and they're doing all right, and it's reassuring.
Yeah, that's probably more important than what we take that for granted, right?
Yeah.
Iron Moose said, I hardly watch the Olympics, but I'm following Cains Quest. LOL.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Based on the live feed, the numbers that were climbing during the Canadian hockey game, it was obvious. A lot of people were tuning into Cains Quest, not the hockey, or two screens going. We're not sure.
What was your success level yesterday, Glenn?
Yesterday we had 1.3 million views.
Yeah, that's what Kirk was
This is from
saying.
an area, right? So you're in Labrador, where there's 12,000 people in Lab City, Wabush. There's 30,000 people total in Labrador. And you're talking 1.3? 1.3 million views on that. So you tell me that's not something amazing.
That is very amazing. And that's the thing, like Labrador City, I tried to explain to Drew, because I had a stint up there for a couple weeks, so I stayed there, and I was trying to explain to Drew the size of this town, how small it is, but it's a full city. I mean, you've got everything in it. Like it's the smallest town that you're going to have a Walmart, a Tim Hortons, and every automotive dealership you can name, and power sports manufacturer you can name in a few square miles. You know what I mean? And what is, like, it's got to be good for tourism, but does the locals want the tourism, or how does that work? Like, it's got to be insane in that town right now.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you bring in the racers, the support crews, the family, so immediately you've got restaurants and hotels filling up.
Yeah, and scouting beforehand as well.
Exactly.
Okay, huge draw. Lots of race teams like to come up, once they have a rough race route, and start poking around, looking around for areas. A lot of guys don't like to race it and see it for the first time, because you're navigating and you're driving at speed, so you have a tendency to wipe out when you're not fully paying attention.
Yeah.
To where you're going. So they love to scout it and pre-run it, and that pre-running, I mean, that's weeks at a time, taking crisscrossing the Yongava Peninsula, and spending time in the northern communities, central communities, western communities, all of them. And it's pretty easy to know. And the other thing about it is the impact is pretty easy to see, because again, the machines are very high level and innovative gas sleighs. Lots of the amount of innovation when it comes to features on snowmobiles that have come from this event is pretty wild. I mean, I always giggle at my buddy, who will remain unnamed, with BRP, in around 2011, when I used to go to snowmobile shows, and I took him aside, and I saw the first free ride, and I said, good, it's kind of like a Renegade, and it's kind of like Summit, and it's beefed up. I said, the free ride said it's a pretty nice machine. And he knew that I was involved with Cains Quest at the time. He looked at me in his French accent, and he said, do you mean the Cains Quest special? And I said, oh, okay, you're paying attention, aren't you? And it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, they did do an Iron Dog version. Like, when are we getting our Cains Quest? Like, you got to work them a little harder.
Yeah, true enough.
Maybe that 600RR that they're launching this year, they should have a special edition for that. I mean, it's got the number plate on it already.
Yeah, true enough.
Right? So, no, that's very cool. And then as far as what's the furthest, as far as the teams that show up, what's the one this year that's furthest distance?
Probably just has to be. Just has to be Team Salt or the Nova Scotia team.
Nova Scotia or Ontario, I guess.
Ontario, yeah, I guess we have a team from Ontario as well.
There's no one from BC or further away than that?
There has been in the past. There has been in the past. I think, we've had a little, I don't want to say stumble, but it's the last couple of years, winter has been a little bit unpredictable. And let's face it, aside from the logistical challenge, the financial investment to be able to run something this remote when you're from, let's say, the heart of Canada is pretty significant. And where the winters have been a little bit unpredictable and pieces of the race route have had to fall off at the last minute, I think you've seen that some teams have been a little bit reluctant to jump right in there. This year, we've got a great winter. I think a lot of Central Canada feels the same way. Lots of snow, good ice, and good conditions. I mean, it was minus 31 last night, something like that, the Celsius without the wind. But this week, all minus 23, 24, 21, just ideal temperatures to maintain good ice, keep the river flows, to a minimum and overflow down. And I think that reliability, going back to that, seeing that reliability, I think you'll see the spread and the draw to be a little larger. I think as well, Glenn, for us, I got to say it, I think that the racers, are realizing again that we're the board. We are race fans. We love racing, and we communicate and connect to racers. We have the same mentality, and we don't come up with dumb ideas that are going to create misery for them or to take the competition out of it. And I think that will also bode very well for our future.
Oh, absolutely. Now, it's every 2 years, right? So you're talking 2028. Is that correct?
Correct.
So if you're interested in joining the race in 2028, is it something you have to sign up for now, or is there a cutoff for that date?
Yeah, that'll be as it gets nearer, you're probably looking at 2027, sometime during 2027, maybe summer. That'll be when we'll start nailing down our teams. We got almost a year of prep before we lay it on the table and say, all right, this is the plan for 2028, and this is how many teams we're taking, and here's your time to sign up, and the first one's in the door, get the spots.
I think anybody interested in racing in 28 should consider the checkered flag of this race the green flag for them.
Is that right?
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. The what's the fees? Like, how does one get involved in signing up for 2028?
Well, the fee will be determined as it gets closer to the race date. Yeah.
What was 2027
$10,000
or 2026? What was that? How much did that cost a team?
God, you're asking questions now that our administrator takes care of and that we don't ever have to deal with it.
You don't know that?
Yeah, $10,000.
$10,000.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because Corey Jinks, he says he wants to race in it so bad.
Come on up. Labrador is waiting to see you.
Yeah, for sure. But and then someone was asking about the tracking the race now. I forgot the name of the fellow you had on last week. I want to see where he's at. That's Brady Slade, Team Rowdy 93, and unfortunately he had to scratch. He had a rough day. Yeah, we can pull up the pictures of that right now. He had a rough time with it. Let me just read that post that he posted. Or do you know the background on this, guys?
Well, I think it was suspension damage. I don't know if you're tracking the race right now, but they're over a huge body of water called the Small Reservoir, which was previously a number of individual lakes in Labrador that were flooded and connected in the late 60s, early 70s to make the Churchill Falls hydroelectric station. And that lake, when the winds come up on that and the drifts start to form and then the temperatures plummet, that is like several thousand square kilometer lemon meringue pie. And when you're trying to go across that at speed, it's pretty brutal on equipment. And they've got standard survival gear, they've got extra fuel. They're running fairly heavy, especially on those long runs between checkpoints.
Yeah. I called up Brady's post, and he said, I know many of you are anxiously waiting on an update from us on what happened last night, so I wanted to take some time to quickly shed some light on the matter. What are you looking for there? And he said, we left the starting line and felt really good. Sleds were performing great. He got to Fremont, same thing, no issues. Took our trail we had planned in Apakapa, and it worked great, and we managed to gain some positions. As we came on to Ashapani Lake, I'm going to butcher these names, by the way. That's what I do.
It makes it more entertaining. I love it.
I hit a bump and something didn't feel right. He stopped, got off, and noticed a crack in the H-frame. Where is it here? Hold on.
Which is where the skid mounts to the snowmobile, if anybody's following, with the H-frame on the
yeah,
sled is.
He said it sucked, but no big deal. We had one on us. Broke out the... I keep double hitting it. He broke out the tools and changed it pretty quick. A few minutes later, we were riding hard to make up time. I struck a rock hidden in the snow, but luckily no damage. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to let Ethan know, his partner, and he smacked the same rock and bent an upper A-arm. Got to Orway, changed the A-arm, got gas, and hammered down. Managed to catch a few teens before Ataconic. Is that right? Ataconic?
Ataconic.
And we were feeling pretty good again. Got to our support at Ataconic, and they were great. Gave us a huge hot burger and a little pick-me-up speech. He fueled at Twin Falls Road, and off to Shefferville we go. Used a trail that no one else did, going to the Smallwood Reservoir. That's what you just talked about. Not sure if that's faster, but it definitely was smoother. As we got onto the reservoir, it was incredibly rough. Done the best speeds we could. We stopped on an island, and I noticed my sled sitting funny. The upper wheel was missing from the H-frame. Limped it across to our support to change it. Once we got to our support, we realized that the reason it was missing is the drop brackets that actually came apart from the tunnel.
That is insane.
Yeah. Took a moment to finally realize the extent of the damage. We were in the middle of the reservoir with minimal tools and definitely no fabrication materials. And with that, we considered all options. Being so far away and with the lobstick road out of bounds, as we as a team ultimately determined our race was over. So he was out of bounds when he actually was trying to work on it there?
No, just I think it was an option to be able to crawl back.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
To get back and get repaired, to be able to run on virgin terrain or rough terrain, he wouldn't have made it back to, I think, his repair resources.
I gotcha.
So he jumped on Lobstick Road, which he knew was out of bounds, but it was the only way he's going to get back there.
I gotcha. And he says to our support team, I want to apologize to all of you for an early end to our race. I can't begin to say how much your time and effort means to me. It stings right now. I can honestly say I put 110% of everything I had into this race. To make matters worse, it was almost the exact spot that everything went wrong in 24. Oh man, I don't know if I'll be back again, but who knows what 2028 will bring. Maybe I'll let all of you decide. I'd love to see him come back, man. He's got a good heart for it.
The crazy thing about this damage is that you would have to re-weld this, because this is a thing that is like the mount for the upper wheel and the upper suspension is like part of the tunnel. It's not supposed just to come off like this. I can't believe it. These pictures.
I guarantee you, if he was closer to a community, he would have welded it up and bolted it through.
Oh,
and
for sure.
Took off like bat out of hell.
Yeah. Now, we had a conversation about that last week, and he had mentioned that he didn't do anything to that skid. Like a lot of guys are actually reinforcing their skids and stuff, and he said the Lynx are, renowned for their ability to handle big bumps. Do you think that was maybe a fault on his part, or is that something maybe something else would have broke?
The PPS skid is, it's built, it's designed by probably people over in Scandinavia. And I mean, it's a good skid. It's made for rough terrain, so it should be able to take it. Again, highlighting what I said earlier, not exactly a fair evaluation when you've got your gear, your gas, your survival equipment as well, your tracker. Most of these guys now run Starlink too. It all adds weight to the back of the tunnel. We've seen quite a few teams brace these up, and what they were finding in Brady's defense is that you brace one area and it cracks somewhere else. So I think he was trying, and sometimes cracks in a worse place. Had he been in a community with this type of break or near somewhere on the North Coast, he probably could have had a little bit of ingenuity and made some repairs and carried on. It's just the remoteness of it. Middle of the small reservoir is about as far away from everything as you can possibly get in Labrador, and the guy made the right decision to pack it in.
Yeah.
I mean, these conditions too are the ultimate test for a snowmobile. You got these cold, super cold temperatures, overweight sled, overloaded sleds, speed. The drivers are experiencing fatigue and stuff. So like, you want to test the sled's durability. Like this is the ultimate test, without question.
Oh, absolutely. As far as conditions go out there right now, like, is this like a heavy snow year for you guys as well? Like, we're having epic year here.
It's we have it's, I wouldn't call it an epic year for us. I mean, a regular year for us is an epic year. This is the place of winter as far as
we just lost our camera.
But we're doing better than we have over the last 2 or 3 winters. That's for sure.
We just lost your camera there. I don't know what.
Go up, is it?
Oh, yeah, you're there. There you are. You're back now. There you go. Good.
Sorry.
As long as you can hear us, you don't need to see us.
Yeah. Well, they said you got a face for radio, Glenn.
Yeah.
There was a guy from Ottawa, Braden Prindle says he's coming from Ottawa in 2028. See you soon.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Look forward to see you, Braden.
And he answered. He answered my question about the fees for this year.
Someone else answered this question.
Oh yeah, right on the Cain Quest website, $7,000 this year.
Okay.
We're not the finance guys. We're the logistics guys.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's
Feel the crack on the cheeks when the finance lady says tighten up.
and $7,000. I can't believe you supplied the sleds and all the gear and everything in that price.
Yeah, sure, man. Yeah.
Don't forget fuel.
Yeah, and fuel too, all that stuff.
Shouldn't joke with that, because we'll get people coming in wanting
Yeah.
show up.
Exactly.
$7,000.
What did you say you raced before, Rob, or you just like Glenn? You have never raced it, right?
No.
Rob,
I haven't raced. It's a long story why I didn't. But let me tell you something. When we started spreading out, okay, I have a collection of tracks and routes that go everywhere from Hudson Bay to the tip of Labrador down to the St. Lawrence River. I mean, it's just there's nowhere you can't go with the amount of intel that I've gathered, and that's been 20 years in the works. And I would say I have probably the deepest repository of information that anybody has anywhere for this region. And I gathered that information by talking my way into it. Okay, a lot of this information, trap lines, routes that guys would scout out and not want to share, because a wise man once told me, if you have something and it's good and you want to keep it, you keep your mouth shut. And that was very much true when it came to these routes. Some of these were old trapper trails. I mean, I burned the bottom out of a dozen kettles sitting down with old trappers from Cartwright, Port Hope Simpson, Northwest River, Kovic, Postville, to understand and have them draw the routes out on a map. And I felt a certain, I had to convince them to give me this information. This didn't always exist, on a computer screen everywhere. I worked like a historian, for 20 years to gather it. And in a lot of ways, it was given to me to build the event. It was not given to me to use against their hometown boy. And that was one of the reasons why I would never compete, because I felt that it would be a betrayal to the people that gave me this very, very valuable information. And I have to say, I have a lot of things, but that's probably the most valuable thing that I own, is that collection of knowledge.
Right on. You know that Kirk Hasten and I chat all the time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He said, make sure you have Rob tell his story about the air extraction when shit hit the fan a few years back.
Yeah, shit definitely hit the fan on that one. That's for sure. I was with an ex Cains Quest racer, legend, George Rod, that night. And George's a hell of a guy. I mean, he just absolutely is a driver, and just whips you and whip you to the point of exhaustion. And we just loved performing for George. And as George got older, he just loved sitting back and watching what he had created, his little minions, who were equally as capable and had the knowledge that he had. He passed it on well, I guess is what I'm saying. And no doubt it was a retirement plan for him, so that he could keep going into his 60s and 70s. And we do the hard work parts now. On this particular trip, just a bunch of difficult scenarios, a bunch of things that came together at the worst possible time. I mean, I've been on thousands of trips into the Labrador backcountry in the winter and in the summer, and I'm a very accomplished person, but you know, we had a weather forecast that had a big variability to it. But you had 4 guys who love hanging out, and we didn't think we'd get any more opportunities that winter, so we went for it. It was only 30 centimeters or so in the forecast. We didn't think it would be too bad. And anyways, got up on the high country. Snow was far worse than we thought it was. A buddy of mine who normally traded off the lead with me got sick, and it was all up to me to blaze track that time. And, you know, I worked like a dog. We were about 17 and a half hours covering 160 kilometers through the woods. And this is hell zone, Nipisshish, between the Scotty River and Nipisshish, which is part of the race route this year because I'm a particularly kind person. And I was exhausted by the time we got there. Big snowstorm, 100 kilometers of wind. Hung out in the camp the next day. Tried to make our way out the next day. There was at camp, honestly, it was about 80 centimeters of snow. It was unbelievable, and it was bottomless. And the lake sank. There was a lot of slush. But again, you know, our 23 and our mantra was always push harder, get home, and it worked every time. And anyways, we were 12 hours just to get out to the Muscogee River. And, you know, the overland part is the hardest part. We probably got stuck 50 times, 60 times on the way out. And you work like a dog, you get hot and sweat, everything sweats. And I thought, you know, we got to the river, we had about 100 kilometers to punch, and we thought the hard part's over. So, you know, you take the driest part of your balaclava you got left and swing it to the front, and you get hammered down. And I took off, and when I got to the middle of the Muscogee River, I disappeared. It was just in slush, you know, right to the headlight. And my sleigh behind me, my gas sleigh, was completely buried. And I didn't want everybody else to get too wet, so I tried to do as much as I could on my own. Slush was over my boots. And then the mercury started to drop from minus 25 down to it was minus 39 that night, and everything started to freeze in a hurry. So long story short, we couldn't get out of the river, but we pushed and we pushed and we pushed. We were on the go from 5 a.m. to about midnight at that point.
Oh my God.
And it was tough. Everybody on super wides. And when we finally got to a point where, you know, we had tried to find a dry route out of there, we were past the point of exhaustion, to be quite honest. And when you're past the point of exhaustion, you know, you really don't have enough energy anymore to do anything. You're useless. So we made a little snow fort, you know, like learning scouts, and we got in it, and we had our sterno can at minus 39. You know, it was I think the term I used is that's about as effective as a fart in a gale of wind.
Oh man.
Put it.
Yeah.
And we snuggled in there, and I looked at my buddy and I said, look, the only good thing about this is you're not going to freeze to death by yourself. So put on your snowshoes. And we started walking, and we went back to a tent that was there that the other 2 guys had pitched. But by that time, my feet froze like rock. And his too. We had several guys at Frostbite who had gotten in the slush. And luckily, we had an in-reach device. We all did. And we were able to make some communication. Just before Starlink Mini became available. Yep. And we made the call, and 7 hours later, there was a cormorant on us, getting us out of there. And even that was a challenge. I mean, you know, you when a helicopter's coming to save you, you don't sit in a tent and wait for someone to be ready to rescue you. You get out and you make sure they see where you are. You turn on your beacon on your head so that they can, you know, pinpoint you. But, you know, the prop wash from cormorant is pretty significant. It's over 100 kilometers an hour, and it's already minus 39. And, you know, you're just getting blasted, and everything that just, you know, thawed out in the tent freezes like rock when you get outside. So you're just like walking the dining room chairs across the floor instantly. And luckily we got out of it and learned a few lessons along the way. And, you know, kind of one of those cases where you never thought it would ever happen to you, but in that case it really did. But it was something. Labrador is a big place, man. Big place.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like that's the thing. In reach would help, but it's still not, you know, not the end all to be all, right? As far as communication goes. What about like you turn those headlamps on, and that just is like turning on the drive-through sign for wildlife, isn't it?
Yeah. We don't care for that stuff. We're used to that.
I don't know. Some of the polar bear pictures I've seen from Kirk, it would make your head spin.
Yeah, but they're more on the coast. This was more inland, but the worst thing you had to worry about was a wolf or a moose that thought you were somewhat attractive. Other than that, you were in pretty good shape.
You're not going to tell that story though, Reba.
No, leave that one out.
I'm just hearing this helicopter story for the first time. Kirk keeps mentioning it, but it's the first time I've actually heard it. So yeah,
Good one.
here, yeah.
That's wild. That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I froze 2 sides of my feet and every toe. I'm pretty sure I'm part lobster because somehow I got every toenail back and brand new toes, pretty much.
Oh, that's good, because oftentimes you lose them and they never come back. And then, like when you get your feet cold now, does it hurt, or do you really?
No,
are you really?
I like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm part lobster because my toes, I mean, they looked horrible. They're black, all of them, and down the sides of my feet were black. And I was very concerned about the damage I had done. But once everything, blistered, popped, peeled over, toenails fell off, well, everything started growing back, and my feet are perfect. I don't get cold at all. I have no sensation in my toes, absolutely nothing. I mean, I can stub my toe and just not even blink and just go on. Which is kind of funny, right?
That would be a benefit. I'd love that.
Where's the downside?
Yeah, exactly.
You get an ingrown toenail, you wouldn't even feel it. You just let it go. It's all right.
Yeah, Rob, stop bragging. Stop bragging, Rob. You're
stub my toe once a week in the garage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Chris Watson asked, when do you start planning for the next Cains Quest race?
Banquet is Saturday, so we'll probably start Sunday or Monday.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right on.
We immediately start with I'm getting tired now, lack of sleep.
Yeah.
The debrief will start right after the race, and we'll start looking at what we did, how we did it, how we can improve it, what worked, what didn't work. Those discussions will start next week.
Yeah. Well, that leads to this. How many people are on the Cains Quest organizers team?
Board is about 10.
10 board members. We got 3 staff on right now for the race, and
400 plus volunteers.
Oh yeah, 400, 500 volunteers.
Right on.
Volunteers are key. That doesn't happen with volunteers. With the remote access and majority of communities don't have roads accessible. It's snowmobile, airplane, boat, whatever, depending on the season. This race don't happen without volunteers. They're the key. We can do all the planning we want. The racers can show up. There is no race with volunteers, and all these communities come together. It's the highlight of the year for a lot of these communities too. So for the most part, volunteer engagement is easy. They are all in. They love it. They die for this race.
And they do a great job. They just do a great job. I mean, like I said, we're the people of the snowmobile. We really are. And to get buy-in from all age groups is usually second nature to them.
When people are pre-running the race, like you're talking about the community being heavily involved, when they're pre-running the race, do the community let people stay at their houses? Like if Corey's going to run the race in a couple of years, and he ends up in Lab City or Labrador, is it something where he doesn't really have to worry about finding people to help him out?
It's pretty amazing. Let me tell you something now. One of the greatest benefits are the stories and the experiences from pre-running, making alliances in these towns, having a reason to reach out, to a little tiny community up at the tip of Labrador. If it wasn't for Cains Quest, there would be absolutely no reason for someone in Ontario to reach out to these people. And that reason has created connections between communities and between people. And the friendships that have been made, Kirk Hastings that you spoke about. Yeah. Kirk came in here, and John Guy O'Coin, previous winner, came here yesterday. He looked at me and he said, Rob, I came into Lab City the first time in 2006. I think it was his first one. And he said, I didn't know if I liked this place. It felt pretty cold, personally. A French language first person. And he was here on the line with me today or yesterday, and he said, I have more friends here than I have anywhere. And he said, the experiences I had with Cains Quest and the George individual that I mentioned earlier, he said, all these people, these are some of the best friends I have, and I can't wait to come back and spend more time.
Right on.
So to answer your question, yes, lots of friends and allegiances have been created, and lifelong friends. Kirk is staying at a place here in town for a full week from 2 people who wouldn't let him sleep in the checkpoint at the end of the race in 2008, I believe it was. Said basically, these poor guys have nowhere to go. Everything's full. We don't want to let them sleep here. Let's just bring him home, Jerry, and he'll just stay at our place. And here we are now, 20 years later, and they are best of friends, and wouldn't dare hear of Kirk and Benny and his family staying anywhere else. That's awesome.
So if you're someone like Braden that commented earlier, he's coming in 2028, how do people that want to sign up for the race find out who these people are? Like, can they reach out to you guys as organizers and you'll kind of hook them up, or they just...
Maybe a little bit of Facebook searching, looking around.
You've already got a name with Kirk. He's already got the contact right there. There you go.
Yeah, okay, well, there you go.
Shoot contact with us.
Yep, shoot us a message and I'll hook you up with Kirk, actually. That's a great tip. You know, Tim Weiss says, Rob, drop a jar of pickles on your toes and not blink an eye.
Yeah, no problem. Right? Too funny.
Michael DeJulio says these guys need private equity investment. And this, like the biggest employer there has got to be Iron Ore Company, is it?
In this town,
yeah. Like, do they get involved in supporting the race and funding it or anything like that?
Unbelievable investment of not only financial assistance but resources as well.
IOC Decor, the two mines here in Lab City, they are phenomenal sports.
We'd never do it without them. Never.
Right on. Do you cross or land at all, or is it off? Is it off limits?
No, that would be more like a pit mine, and they're only a small area in Lab West. So with so much crown land here, we have no trouble rooting around them. But they absolutely harness the buzz and the quality of life bonus for the residents here, and they really invest a lot with us.
Right on. Yeah, they keep everything ticking there. And I kind of laugh when you were talking about when people show up and I think Glenn, you had said they know when you arrive, and that's the thing is Lab City is so small that we were instantly recognized as being the tourists or whatever. We were there working. We were hired by IOC, and that was when the big strike was on. And we were instantly known as why we were there and what we were doing and who we were. You didn't have to tell anybody; they knew automatically.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome. And again, like you said, I met so many people that have hit me up afterwards, going, "When are you going to come back and ride?" Because I couldn't snowmobile when I was working there, right? And they're going, "When are you going to come back and go snowmobile?" And it's like, I wish it was closer, you know.
Even just a little run up to Shefferville is real. You see a lot of country on Mannahack Lake. That was covered yesterday in Block 1 of our 2026 race route. And I mean, it's you get to see some pretty cool country just there, and you cross over to Quebec for a short period of time.
Oh. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that's the thing. You're not too far from part of Quebec, but you're so far north. It's mind-boggling to kind of think about where you are on a map.
It's called a big land for a reason.
Yeah.
One of the last free frontiers, really is.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. When you're out there, you see it, especially when you go from Lab City to Fremont and drive into Quebec from there. We've actually did that, and it's pretty remote and mountainous, and I mean, it's not Rocky Mountains by any means, but it's pretty awesome.
Rule on the 389.
Yeah.
It's a really, really fun riding area. Very popular there too.
Yeah, right on. When did Cains Quest start? Tim asked, how long has it been running?
Since 2006 was the first race. Todd Kent was the original person that came up with the idea. We were all kind of struggling across Labrador trying to build a groom trail network, and I was with the Grand River Snowmobile Club at the time over in Goose Bay, and many times Todd, myself, and a couple of the friends that we had at the time, we worked really hard to try to groom a trail network from Lab City right out to Goose Bay and north. And there were, when that trail was groomed, it was absolutely beautiful. I mean, with 300 kilometers between communities, 300, with nothing, absolutely nothing, no fuel, no support, no tools, no garages. It was a hard place to be, and really rough terrain as well, with a piston bully 200 and a 16-foot drag behind you. And the minute you had a snowstorm, you know, it was completely snowed over. So we kind of got a little tired of working so hard at that and then trying to pull someone's family out of a snowbank in the middle of the night because they couldn't get any further, and, you know, being 150 kilometers outside of town. But there were some people that came to Labrador who were well equipped and had their machines set up well and were in good shape and were of that mind, understood backcountry riding. And, you know, you get the same snowstorm and these guys would blow through and they'd show up in town and, you know, we'd kind of say, you know, how did things go? You know, how bad was it? Was what we were waiting for. And they would say, I absolutely loved it. It was the best ride I had in ages. I didn't see anybody. We saw some animals, busted up some fresh pow, loved it. 300 kilometers of pure pleasure. And that's when Todd got the idea. And he said, you know, this is the kind of tourist that Labrador is ready for. And he was very right. Yeah.
That's awesome. But to do it, but with the toughest snowmobile race in the world, like when it started, was it as long as this? Like, was it a real feat?
It was short. It was shorter than our first day's loop.
Oh, is that right? Okay. So it was something that was achievable.
yeah, basically, yeah. Yes. It just ran like from here to Churchill Falls, up Orma Lake Road with 160, back down through, and like some of the Shefferville Run, and then back to Lab West. But back then, I mean, there was no GPS tracking. There was no rudimentary Global Star satellite communications that, you know, I'm pretty sure when a Global Star satellite got taken out by someone throwing their sat phone up in the upper atmosphere during that race, because it never worked.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of mystique about it. Right? A lot of mystique because information didn't flow as freely. But since then, you know, the pressure was on to grow, and the folks in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador encouraged us to continue to grow and take in more communities, get more exposure, get more involvement from municipalities, and spread that excitement. And, you know, they were 100% right. I mean, the further we went, the warmer the reception and the bigger the event grew, the number of racers that registered.
I'm sure that, like, since 2006 too, the fact that snowmobile technology and suspension and everything's gotten that much better, that's got to help out as well.
Yeah. In 2006, the winning team were on VK Professionals. Imagine how far they'd get today.
Yeah.
I was doing some social media stuff. I was digging back through the last 20 years, digging up as many old pictures as I can, just trying to promote the 20th anniversary. And when I started looking at some of the old pictures, it's like, oh my God, how were they not killed?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that there'll ever be a vintage class in the race?
Maybe, if you don't want to go very far.
Or if you have a real death wish.
There's been lots of talk about you know, other versions, and an adventure class that's less fast, an amateur class that would allow you to get your feet wet, but not in, you know, it wouldn't be too intimidating or too big of an investment to run the full thing. So, you know, there's lots of good ideas out there. I think there's lots of potential for all kinds of cool stuff. I mean, something that we've been toying with privately and that we'd love to see get off the ground in the future is a pool, like a hockey pool. And that would really gather a lot of interest and put a little skin in the game. And we all know how much poolies love their pools, and you know, there's all kinds of different ways you could earn points throughout the race route, and there's so many variables. It would only add to the excitement, I guess.
Yeah. Iron Moose had a good suggestion too, and you see this with things like the Tour de France and stuff, as they do tours around the route, right? Are there any snowmobile tours that actually travel the Cains Quest route, if like trips?
You get some folks that come in and kind of chase sections of it, not so much organized. There is one outfit called Nord XP out of the Quebec City area that oftentimes comes up and uses part of the course. I think lately they've been running up to George River, Kangasawalachewak, up there in Nungava Bay, and then cutting across the Korak River, Torngat Mountains, out to the Labrador coast and south. They usually if you time it right, it's polar bear time, and they get to see a couple, which is a pretty big plus for them.
Well, you want to be able to see them from a distance, though, right?
Yes. Yeah, you're a walking pork chop.
Yeah,
Not over your shoulder, for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We will stand behind Rob when we look at the polar bears.
Yeah, no. I'll hit him with my toes.
That's
Chew
right.
on these, buddy.
Yeah,
It'll give you time to get out of there.
that's right. As long as you can run faster than these two guys, we're good. An amateur, William McCleary says, an amateur class similar to what they run side by side with the Dakar would be a great addition.
We toyed with that previously. Part of the challenge with that is it was all, for someone to come from Ontario, let's say, to come all the way to Labrador to run, the logistical challenges and costs to run an amateur loop was almost the same as going full-blown forward.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when we tried it, I think it was a little bit unpopular. We also talked about a women's class.
That's cool.
But it didn't really set off real well. But it became brutally clear to us that there was no need. If a woman wants to race, she can race. And we've had some very successful women's teams in the past and finished. And we've had some hybrid teams, husband and wife, male, female. And that's been pretty cool to watch happen as well. Pretty good news story.
Yeah, well, you want to hear about arguments hanging wallpaper. That's got to be quite the entertaining show.
Yeah. No doubt.
That's the thing. It's too bad there isn't there's so many reality TV shows out there that it would be cool to have a reality show cover a husband and wife team or a team in general. Like even what Brady just went through, even though his race was cut short, to just be a fly on the wall that whole time, what he was enduring, and then they could pick up where he left off and continue on with someone else, right?
You wouldn't have to fabricate much drama, I can guarantee that.
No, hell no.
Right? 40 below, 3,500 kilometers, 100 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
That's script writes itself, right?
Yeah, exactly. Tim Weiss says, do you have to have land permits in order to get access to the land?
Now, we're not giving away all of our secrets there, Skipper, but generally we have, with the right consultations, we have freedom to venture out through Labrador.
Yeah.
Some exceptions, not a lot.
I don't think you have to worry about Tim Weiss starting his own race in Labrador. I don't think that's a concern.
No, that's right.
He's an Ontario guy, just like us.
Gotcha.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, they're starting one in Ontario.
That's cool. You want to go through we're just going to take a second. Drew's going to do a roll call and see who's in the chat and who's been in the chat, and then we'll move on to some fan photos.
Yeah, I'll do something like that. So we got Jay Darren in the chat. Doug Patterson's in the chat again tonight. Tim Druin, Scott Marley, Ryan Green, Braden Pindle, Olive Garden Gnome, Throwing Sparks, Brian Lynn, Renegade X, Tim Weiss, Brad Sodders, Rob Overholt, Chris Watson, Lepoinski 800R, Corey Jinks, Jacob Massart, Willie McCleary, Iron Moose, Ron Kestelut, Dave W, and Michael DeJulio. Thanks for everyone chatting so far tonight. Sweet.
That's awesome. Someone asked how Brady got his machine out. Did he drive it out or down that road, or did they actually fly it out?
No, he didn't fly it out. He should have been able to limp out. I think that's what I was understanding from what we could see on the tracker. He limped it out to an accessible point, and then they hauled it out of there. We have had cases where those snowmobiles have had to be airlifted out when basically the spring came early. Doesn't happen very much, but we have had to do that in the past.
Yeah, for sure. One more question. I'm going to run a couple of ad spots, so just bear with me here. Would Cains Quest ever do like an Iron Dog and provide gas stops every 200K?
See, that would make it more accessible for amateurs. Would be something like that.
True enough. We actually we've had some conversations along these lines previously, and we do recognize that the support piece is a huge piece for racers. Flip side of that is for us to provide it is also a huge logistical challenge then for a small group of volunteers. Would it do exactly what you were saying there? Yeah, it would maybe reduce the logistical challenge, cost, and the amount of coordination that you need to do with an entourage of people and equipment. And that certainly has a lot of value. We're going to talk that out for the future plans to see maybe if we can even come up with a hybrid solution to make it a little easier in more remote areas.
Yeah, I mean, some of these teams got up to 20 support crew members. So, I mean, that's, that's 20 fellows that you're relying on to take anywhere from 10 days to 2 weeks off, whatever's needed. So it's a big commitment from your support crews as well, and supplying in the gas and the parts and all that. So it adds, it's definitely a discussion needs to be had.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys talk to other races like the Dakar and like the Iron Dog providers and Baja? Like, do you guys liaison with other races like that to bounce ideas off of?
We do. We've had good, friendly communications with the Iron Dog in the past, and we appreciate that they're a slightly different format of racing, but they face a lot of the similar challenges that we do.
Yeah, nice. Well, as long as you're learning and looking at them, that's all you can ask, right? I'm going to run a couple ad spots here, and then we're going to get back and we're going to do some fan photos, okay?
Sure.
Fan photos are brought to you by Fast Track Snowmobile Traction. This season, quit sliding sideways on the ice and losing races to your buddies. A Fast Track stud kit will help you with improved braking and give you the arm-ripping acceleration you crave. I put over 3,000 clicks last season on my Renegade 850, and I'll tell you, these studs exceeded my expectations. Not one broken stud, my Ida wheels still look like new, and they hooked up like I was on rails in the twisties, inspiring confidence every ride. Fast Track Top Gun kits are the highest rated stud kit at 4.9 stars with over 230 reviews. The studs are heat treated stainless so they are strong and they don't rust. The kit is lighter, easier on the track, and has a lifetime warranty against breaking. Each kit comes with a track-specific template for complete balance with over double the scratch lines from stock templates. All listeners when purchasing a stud kit can get a free install kit, a $30 value. Visit fasttrack.co, add both products to the cart, and use the coupon code SNOW at the checkout. That's fasttrac.co. Tired of dealing with worn-out carbides and scratchers that just won't scratch your itch? You deserve better. It's time to upgrade your ride with Quali Pieces. Quali Pieces is the leader in specialized snowmobile accessories, bringing you innovative products that solve the everyday problems we all face on the trails. From their durable, long-lasting carbides, Trailblazer ice scratchers, to their ingenious roller ski, Quali Pieces has redefined quality and performance. Have a taste of their specialized carbides at qualipieces.com and take your snowmobile to the next level.
Oh, are we gonna? Oh, I'm on the.
Yeah, no problem. Oh yeah, so we're gonna find the link thing, but we're just talking off the air there about tracking people and getting lost, and Drew and I have our own little tracking unit that we got from TrailLink, and I'll run the spot on that. Out on the trails, connection matters. Okay. That's where TrailLink comes in. TrailLink is the off-grid buddy tracking system that keeps your group connected even when cell service can't. Quickly find and notify your crew if you need help with long-range performance up to 10 kilometers on open ice and 1 to 2 kilometers through hills and trees. TrailLink is built on a mesh network that links up to 20 riders with a long-lasting battery and a bright display showing group connection and alerts. TrailLink keeps you connected when it matters most.
Glad you're all right, buddy.
So brap on over to traillink.ca, trailink.ca, and use the coupon code SNOWBRATS at the checkout, and you'll receive 25% off your purchase. Yeah, we got to get more miles under our belt with those TrailLinks, because there's going to be one day we're going to use them and it's going to be awesome.
one day we'll have them.
We've been ahead of the disaster every time, guys. And
well, the problem is because we don't have much like entertainment where we need to have them on. We're never the people that need to have one. And plus, if I had one on BAM Sled, it would have been a melted glop of crap. So
yeah. Did you watch it? Did you were able to?
No,
watch
I wasn't able
Okay.
to update my membership.
I
It
put the
won't let me.
whole BAM fire in the members only video on unfiltered and unedited, and
You should have waited.
Paul says, why is the trail links both at the front of the pack? Why don't you guys spread out? And I was like, because you guys are so freaking slow. Drew and I were leading with the trail links on, and they were behind us, and the sled caught on fire, and they had no way to alert us, so they're trying to text us in an area there was no cell phone coverage. So, yeah, but there's a good question. Tim says, is the helicopter a paid expense, or is it donated volunteer?
Paid expense.
Very much so, paid expense.
Wow.
And an absolutely necessary expense when you run a race like this in such a remote location.
Absolutely. What's the cost to organize a race like this and execute it? Do you know what the tally is?
I'm afraid to ask sometimes.
Like, is this like a $3 million operation, or
No, I think it's sub $1 million, but not by a whole
Yeah.
lot. Not by a whole lot.
Yeah, wow.
So we're moving parts. We're all kind of looking after different areas, and Jerry takes care of the finances. And when we got to tug on the ear, we
Yeah.
rein it in.
You get a tug on the. I get a knock on the nose like that.
Yeah. So we
But,
called up
where
the
they
we
are-
called up
where
the
they are right
tracking.
now-
We call up the tracking map screen here. If you guys want to walk us through it, this is on the website for Cains Quest. Easy to find.
So what's active right now is what we call Block 2, which is the most remote piece of the route. It's running from Lab City in the west all the way to Nain, which is the northernmost community in Labrador, up at the top. That's the yellow line. That's right. So that one is just under 1,000 kilometers. When we started planning the route, I thought that one was going to be the longest leg of the race, but it's actually Block 1. That's the longest, which is what we ran yesterday, from Lab West, Vermont South, over towards Churchill, up to Shefferville, and back down. But you're not too far from civilization on any of those runs. Where they are tonight is really big show. Several teams are already across the reservoir, which is, in the middle of that reservoir, you're about in the most remote part of Labrador possible, right there. That looks like an ocean. It's huge. And to make your way, we just sent a couple teams out. You want to talk bravery? 8 o'clock at night, minus 20, visibility coming down, wind chill probably close to 33, 34. And yeah, we're going to go spend the next 12 to 14 hours going across this reservoir, north into Natural and up to Nain on the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, you're on your GPS and it literally says Atlantic Ocean right on it. And we're buzzing along that at 120, 150, 160 kilometers an hour. That's pretty wild.
Oh, that's actually a good question from Lachlan right there.
Yeah, Lachlan.
Oh, that's TrailLink.
TrailLink is
Hey,
in the
Lachlan.
chat. That's awesome. Very cool mapping, he says. How often do rider locations update?
We can vary it, but of course, battery life on the tracker will be impacted by that. So 10 minutes is our usual interval, but in areas where it's mandatory for them to pass through and there could be penalties involved, we can increase the resolution 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute.
Right on.
But as you can imagine, the more pings you get, the less battery life you have.
Yeah. Braden Prindle says, do riders get to pick their own routes instead of following the direct path that is laid out?
So Rob will lay down a suggested. It's a suggested route, is basically what it is. There's some waypoints that we need to hit and checkpoints that we need to hit in order.
The green ones.
But the yellow line is suggested route. You can probably see there on your map. A lot of them are varied off the suggested route because they have pre-scouted maybe and found a riverbed or a valley or something that they feel is good and may make some time. So they will make their own routes, but they got to hit the waypoints, checkpoints, get to the destination.
And as far as the sweep goes,
There's
like
lots of
how?
room to be.
Sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
I should say there's lots of room for them to innovate, and that's one of the most exciting parts of the race. Especially if there's a person who hangs out in that area and you can see someone veering off to the side. They say, he's going right for that, and they start to watch a lot, right? A little more intensely.
Yeah.
So you got a question.
When you're getting into areas around the reservoir there, like in the land areas of that, there can't be much civilization, but are there people there, like within the route, to kind of cheer you on and help you out and give you some support, like just locals?
There are lots of cabins, lots of hunting cabins and such in these areas. Now, we utilize a good number of them for our checkpoints and to house our emergency response personnel in case there was a problem. So, cheer you on. I mean, I'm pretty sure they go hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kilometers without seeing anybody.
Yeah, right.
So, mental game is pretty strong.
Yeah. And then Drew is commenting about the leader right now. What did you...
Team 74?
Team 74 is an MXZ 850.
Yeah, he's really cooking. Those guys are.
Yeah.
It's cool that you got all the teams. So you got another groups on Riot 9000s and backcountries and more backcountries. Seems like Skidoo is the reigning pick here.
It's kind of cool. You can cheer for your own manufacturer, though, right?
Yeah.
X-Terrain REs in the middle of the lake right now. Hopefully they're not pretty far behind, but
so there looks like they're taking a little deviation.
Yep, 100%, right? Way off. It's cool too. I noticed if you click on a specific team, you can actually see their route that they've taken.
That's pretty cool.
On their own little line.
I mean, guys, you're looking at a map. Okay, it's just a map to you, but I mean, to the folks who know this area, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see me what I'm doing. to the folks, you know, who know this area, there are huge, you know, water control structures, you know, out in the middle of nowhere here that control, you know, the movement of water in the small reservoir. And, you know, this is wide open water on the intake, and, you know, a huge tail kick on the end of that creates white bubbling water for kilometers at a time downstream. I mean, to be navigating around this stuff, you know, safely in the dark, I mean, it's pretty wild.
Yeah. Like, what is it? I was going to ask a question about the sweeps. Like, you have checkpoints to hit along the way, and you can take any route pretty much to get to those checkpoints. How much time do you leave people go on their own before you say, okay, there's something wrong. This guy's not here yet, and we're tracking, and he should have been here by now?
Well, we don't get into an official timeout situation until first team across the finish line, but we do have, every team has a communication rep that we can talk to, and we've used this many times throughout the race to say, you know, do you have you talked to your team? Is there something wrong? Is somebody injured? Are we talking a mechanical problem? And from there we can determine next steps through our emergency response protocols.
Yeah, Dave says the leader appears to be going 29 kilometers an hour. Is that the last recorded speed? It must be very rough.
Yeah, it's about as rough as toenail soup where he is right now.
Yeah.
It is rough.
I mean, like, if you just zoom
Yeah.
in, this isn't a groomed trail by any means. This is
undulating terrain, eskers, rocks, sometimes thick woods.
The
In
elevation.
these sections, they can't cook. If they cook, they're going to wrap themselves around a tree. They're going to have to be a little bit strategic. Now, when they get another 70 kilometers north, they're down the river, so they'll make decent time once they get going there. When they get about 60, 70 kilometers north of where they are now, the country's going to open up more, and then they'll be able to turn the wick back up. But you turn the wick up in the wrong section, you're going to have yard sale in a hurry.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're pre-running the race, how long ago would it have been that these teams were out pre-running it? Like weeks ago, months ago? Like,
yeah, they would have started a few weeks ago and probably doing a little scouting right up to the day or two before the race.
so it's pretty current, but things with the terrain and the snow conditions can change, right? Like, you just kind of take a risk that nothing's changed, or is there any way to monitor for? Someone asked about obstructions on the trail there.
The weather, like the ice levels will change in some of the areas, especially around the reservoir. Sea ice along the coast, that'll change fairly quick. So that's that's something they'll want to do closer to the race date.
And for the individual who's asking about the speeds, again, these guys are running in the dark right now, and they've already got 500 plus kilometers behind them after a 1,000 kilometer day yesterday. And as a result of that, they're trying to preserve because they're in such a remote area right now. They're not going to be hustling for rank too hard. They're going to preserve their gear to get to Nain, and then when they get out on the sea ice again on the coast after the next 12-hour layover in Nain, then they're really going to, if the ice conditions are good, they'll start cooking down the coast. Then you'll see them fly.
Michael DeJulio says he'd like to hear about Team 55 and the dogman that appeared to be in the brush at 3 a.m.
Team 55 and the dogman.
I don't know what that is. He must have been watching it last night.
Do we have a team?
I don't think we have a team 55.
There isn't a Team 55.
Oh, weird.
Maybe we're talking about the Iron Dog, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and Tim asked, do manufacturers approach team for representation of their product? That was a question that Brady actually was talking about last week, and unfortunately not yet, right?
I believe there's been some healthy collaborations between teams in the past and the factories. I know with Arctic Cat and Skidoo and Yamaha, there's been plenty of support between certain teams and the manufacturers. That has absolutely happened.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's the thing. It's not too much of the state like Iron Dog, where it's actually really, Skidoo gets all over that race. But the how do you see Cains Quest fitting into something like that, where you can get more buy-in from the manufacturers?
It's discussions I've had in Toronto, talking to the manufacturers, make my rounds. And the biggest thing I discuss is the exposure of the race for us, and the exposure of their product and how well it survives the race, and how how it's used and why it's a sled of choice. So those discussions have been had. I like to feel that some of these manufacturers, if they see their snowmobile on the podium after 3,400 kilometers of grueling trail, that they want to promote, hey, that's our sled, and that draws attention for us to the product we're providing, and makes Cains Quest Canada's endurance race, recognition across the country.
Yeah, very cool. Was there anything else you wanted to look at on this live map?
Maybe just to show, maybe to help viewership understand where things are going. If we could just zoom back a little bit, we could just talk a little bit. So block 2 is that yellow line all the way up to Nain, and thank you very much, whoever's got the mouse there to illustrate that. 12-hour layover in Nain, and then block 3 is the blue line all the way down the Labrador coast, which is going to jump inland. That was a change we had to make fairly late in the game because of poor ice conditions that are on the nose there, and they go to Rigolette back into Goose for 12-hour layover again. Block 4 is I believe it looks like it's orange.
Yeah, orange. Yep.
So that's through pretty hellish terrain in the central part of Labrador, where it's extremely rough and going to be really, really hard on gear if they don't control their speeds. A few areas where you can really cook, Grand Lake, Kanaitak River up into that lake system, but there's some overland jumps there that are really untouched terrain. Nobody goes in there, and pretty cool to see them blast through there. Block 5 is the home stretch. After a 6-hour hold up in Churchill, then they have to head back to Lab West. We didn't give them any mandatory waypoints to hit between Churchill Falls and Lab City for Block 5. So they have full autonomy to choose whichever route they want and to really cook with grease on their way home.
Does everybody pre-run this thing, or is there some follow-me's out there that just show up and go, I'm just going to ride with someone else and hopefully stay with them enough to do the route?
A lot of the locals will obviously do some recon, different areas that they're not familiar with. I mean, everybody knows their hometown turf, but they will make some trips. The guys in the east will come west and vice versa. Even some of the teams from Ontario and Quebec, they'll come over and do a little bit of pre-scouting. But there have been teams that show up, rely on their GPS to suggest a route, and they just jump right in.
Wow. Do they generally do okay?
There's a lot of luck involved in this, boy. Between the weather and the rocks and we didn't see any dog men. There's a few man dogs out there though, and they can put some serious abuse and hurt on a sled. So
yeah. Chris said, this is a great question. Chris Watson asked, are they limited to how much tech they can use to see conditions ahead? And what kind of tech are people using out there?
I mean, several different map products, GPS wise, is what you're seeing right now, and a pretty good range of what they have on their screens. You know, we saw people using, you know, the old 276C from Garmin, then onto the Montana, up to the 276CX, and now Tread 2, almost exclusively right through. The big technology change over the last 2 years is the Starlink Mini, and most every one of these teams has some form of Starlink, you know, in a roll top link bag, or just mounted directly on the sled somewhere, and that's all permitted. I'm not sure what tech you might be talking about. You know, aerial support is forbidden during the race, and there's no radar or such like
No
that.
drones, no helicopters. No
So
planes.
you're not allowed to pop a drone up to look ahead?
No.
Oh, wow. I guess safety of your air support that you guys run would be a big concern if you had people popping up drones everywhere.
Absolutely, and that's you know, paramount for us, right? I mean, when you look at the map now, I think you guys have probably been educated a little bit just in this conversation about how remote and how many hundreds of kilometers in the bush you are at certain points along this route. And when there's a problem, whether we are dispatching a helicopter or emergency services are dispatching an IFR capable aircraft, you can't have any nonsense going on in your airspace.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Dave said we did a run up from Chelmsford, just west of Sudbury, up to Kirkland Lake, a little less than 500 kilometers on a groomed trail, and I was worn out, LOL. Those guys are more than next level.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Talk about it, Glenn, but what you've seen
Well,
here the last
yeah.
day
So
or so.
yesterday, the guys left the start line at. They started at 10 o'clock. Every minute they pulled off the line. They returned back here. The first group came in at around 12 midnight. You know, sleds were covered in ice, frozen slop.
Smoking us.
Yeah, steam coming off them. You can see it in their eyes. They were tired. You know, some of them were experienced with a snow blindness. We had a little bit of snow last night, and it had that real crystal look to it, and it reflected the light in a terrible kind of way. And the snow dust was kind of hovering in the air. So guys come back. I know one fellow took his helmet off. He flipped his visor up, and it was just like caked on ice and frost frozen on. Yeah. I was like, I got to watch this guy take his helmet off. I don't know how that's coming off over his head.
Oh, wow.
And they're just walking, they're staggering. Like, they got a drunk look to them. They're so tired. The fatigue is kicking. Yesterday, one of the guys said his odometer showed 958 kilometers.
Oh, my God.
And it warps these guys, right? I mean, I ride with some ex-racers, and it warps them because, you know, the regular snowmobiler, it starts to get dark, especially if you're in the backcountry, and you say, okay, you know, it's time to make camp now before it gets too dark. Let's take care of it. And you know, these guys, you know, you ride with them, and it's black hammer dark, and you're still out, and you're blazing trail, and it's black hammer dark, and it's getting darker, and you catch up, and you say, you know, maybe we should make camp, you know, maybe we should stop here, and they'll physically look around and say, oh yeah, it's dark out, isn't it?
Like
it just doesn't even register.
Yeah.
Night, day, cold, warm, just go.
Yeah. I think it was Chris Holmes Jr. when he was on a few years ago, and he was talking about coming to the finish line, like you've been days of riding like this, like you're thousands of kilometers a day, and he said you start hallucinating, and you don't even know what's what. Like, can you relate some of that to the viewers out there, Rob?
I'll leave this one with Glenn.
Is this a Glenn question?
Well, yeah. I mean, like the guy just gets so tired, and you're fixated. If you're ahead, you're focused on navigation. You're glancing at your GPS. You're looking ahead. You're watching for obstacles. You're probably going to have to go in 8-10 hours at this point. You've been in the dark for half of that. If you got a little bit of snow or bad weather, it makes it even worse. And then you got the guy who's riding behind. He's getting snow dust, and he's trying to see through that and watch it for obstacles. And just fatigue kicks in. Most of these guys didn't sleep really well the night before because the excitement is there. The adrenaline is kicking in. They're restless. They're trying to think of everything they can think of before they hit the start line. And so the first day at the gate, you leave at 10 a.m. and you're gone for 12, 14 hours. And they were coming back pretty days last night, and only to have a 12-hour rest and then let's do it again.
Yeah, and that's the thing. CBR, he says...
That's Cole.
Oh, that's Cole. Cole said Brady mentioned hallucinating after he had to walk to town last Monday. Yeah, pretty wild.
I mean, people experience that lack of sleep, right? Tiredness, fatigue, lack of sleep. You start to get, you mumble, you talk, you stagger, you get stupefied.
Yeah.
No other way to put it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, for sure. For sure. You want to call up some fan photos now, or do you have more to talk about on the map?
No, it's fine.
We can always go back to, if you want, on there. So open up the...
Oh yeah.
I've got the script here somewhere.
Well, we got to talk about what we got to do.
Oh yeah, there you go. You want to leave?
Yeah. So it was early. What day is
Sunday
it?
morning.
Saturday morning.
Early
Saturday morning. Well, this guy gets a little text message from our good buddy Steve Hayward, from you guys remember from a few podcasts ago, and said, "Hey, Larry Powersports is getting a 600 RR, and I got you guys a spot on it if you want to go out there today and ride it." And we said, "Done, we'll be there."
Yeah. He said, "Can you be there at 11 a.m.?" And it was like 10 o'clock. I go, "Can we make it a little bit later?" And he goes, "Yeah, for sure." He goes, "Just give them a shout and you're all set." So he told me who to talk to at Larry's Small Engines in Orangeville and
Mono, Ontario.
Yeah, Mono, but they call it Orangeville. But so anyway, I called them and they said, "Yeah, just let us know when you can be there." And they only had it for the day.
Yeah.
I think they had it the day before, but they were only doing demo rides that day. And she goes, we're booked pretty solid. We've got 15-minute spot, but I can give you as much time as you want. So we had about 45 minutes with it, which was really good. That time went by fast, but really cool unit, man. Like it's the 600RR is a pretty neat thing. The best part is the comment I had on the video today. If you're a member of the channel, you've seen this video yesterday. It just went live today at 2 p.m. I think to general public. But I had a great comment about a guy with an XS 600 E-Tech.
Yeah.
And he said, it's a blizzard. And he said, will I notice a difference?
Yes.
In that case,
yes,
you're going to be blown away.
600 E-Tech to 600 RR 600 E-Tech to 600 R E-Tech is already a jump. I couldn't imagine going right to this beast.
Yeah. Like I think a 600R to an RR isn't that big of a jump. I think there is a little bit of notice, but it's not something you're going to really be floored with. But to go from like the XP XS, the power is going to instantly blow you away.
And chassis.
The chassis is going to be wild, but the thing is that the oil economy from XP XS to the Gen 4 is
half.
It's half
or less.
Yeah, this is what we experienced anyway. And then your fuel economy is way better too, like a couple liters difference.
A couple liters difference to an 850.
Yeah.
Already, and then this is supposed to use 5% less fuel and 20% less oil. So
yeah, just
whatever
to give you
those
an idea,
numbers are.
Our 600 E-Tech, the 2009s we had, they were on par with the 850 at a gas station.
For oil and gas, both.
Oil and gas, yeah. The Gen 4 we have is 2 liters or more less fuel that fill up compared to the 850, and the oil is half.
And before anybody says anything about granny driving or whatever, it's me riding it, and I lead the group.
Yeah.
I lead a group of 850s and Turbo Rs and comps, and
if anything, I'm taking it easy.
Anything he's
like if anything, I'm not driving
in the straights. Yeah. I don't do lakes and rail beds.
So and that's the thing.
And that's another thing too. Just quickly about this sled. This is not the rail bed lake sled. If you get on this expecting to be blown away because it's fast, it's not. It's if you're a trail rider and you like twisty trails, buy this over an 850. If you for some reason want a 10-second drag race that means absolutely nothing on a lake, go waste 30 grand on an XRS turbo. Not my problem.
I think it's the top speed on a lake too. You don't have the legs that an 850 actually has, or a 900 or whatever. But as far as that goes, you're never at a loss. Like this year, Drew's been on the
600R,
the 600R,
129.
He's never at a loss with the rest of the pack. I made that comment to somebody the lakes we've been on this year have been too rough to go.
Oh, because the way that they
froze
froze and the snow we've got in Ontario, it's almost dangerous to go at high speeds like on big sleds, right? So if anything, just I mean, and we're talking high speed. I don't see why 120 kilometers an hour is not considered high speed on a lake, because that's what this will comfortably do. It'll sit comfortably at 120, where an 850 will sit comfortably at 150, 160. But so I think that the market still doesn't. I think that people still don't understand. Like a couple of the guys that were there demoing it didn't understand that you're not gonna be. It's not. If the one guy said, oh, it's not.
It needs an 850.
Yeah, it needs an 850. Or it's not as fast as my 850. Well, then it'd be a.
Then it would be an 850, I said.
850.
That's he goes, it needs an 850. And I said to him, then it would be an 850.
But
it wouldn't be a 600.
I'd say this. If you're looking at the 27 model release going, hey, I want to buy one of these 20th anniversary XRSs, I'd say go get one of these. I think you'll be, if you're a trail rider, go get one of these. If you want to be corner to corner fast. Though the weight difference of a 600 to an 850, I had a comment, someone said it's only like 20 pounds or whatever it is, right? And it's like, but that makes a lot of difference when you're talking something that already weighs 500 and something, right?
Yeah.
So
I again wouldn't get the 137.
I'd get a 129.
I think I'd get a 129.
129 Smart Shocks.
Smart Shocks and the big gauge, and you would have an amazing rocket on your hands with this thing. So
yeah, I'd clutch it too.
Yeah, and I was dead serious. Like we brought our 600R up to actually ride with it. And then they threw out taking the Lynx 900. Turbo.
Oh yeah, that was the thing. So we're in the shop and we're going, oh, you guys both going to be riding? He said, well, yeah, we're going to both ride the 600R. So I signed the waiver too and everything. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to go unload. And then they go, oh, we have other demos available. They said, well, we have a 600R 2024. And I'm like, it's going to be the same. Another's 850. I'm like, oh, whatever. And they said, oh, and we have a Lynx Commander pulled out for demo. And I was like, boom, done. I want one of those. And now that's my new favorite sled.
That Lynx Commander is insane.
That is a monster.
I can see your muscles growing from here and the facial hair. I like it.
Exactly. Yeah. It was pretty wild. Thank you, Larry's. The best part is like Steve Hayward mentioned Larry on the show and has told me stories. Like I've kept in touch with Steve since the show. He's become a friend more than anything else. I want to ride with him actually. He'd be a hoot to go trail riding with. But he had mentioned about Larry and Larry got talking stories about starting the dealership up and selling Scorpion sleds out of a transport truck that when Scorpion went out of business, and he was making $150 a unit and he was selling these things for, what was it, $1,500 each?
$998.
$998. He was making $150 and he sold like 30.
He was just told to sell as many as possible. Yeah, 3 truckloads with 30 on it.
Yeah, I think 90 sleds.
Yeah, basically almost
he
100
sold.
sleds.
So just at the side of the road, and then that got him the bug on the dealership and signed a deal with Polaris. And long story short, the Skidoo rep heard that he was signing on with Polaris and said, no, we want you to sign on with us, and he did, and the rest is history. So, but the stories he has about racing and everything, just it blows your mind. So I want to have him on one day because he's such a hoot. Like he's such a character.
Great dealership.
And I think that it goes with the other guests we've had on that have, told the story about developing, the industry and snowmobiling and how it's grown through the years. And
he's truly been there since really, like, he's been through all the crap of Skidoo in the 90s and everything and getting to today. So
yeah, it's pretty.
He knows it's an insane dealership because it's like the size of it's tiny small on the inside. Like we've been to a lot of dealerships over the years, and they're like showrooms are like car dealerships. This thing is like. He should be selling. You think it's like just a chainsaw, which he is a chainsaw dealer. He sells steel, but you think that's all it is with the size of the dealership from the outside. But what a great group! Everybody we talked to at the dealership, not even just salespeople trying to sell you a sled, but all the girls at reception and everything. We're all so happy. They're all enthusiastic about the machines, and they all knew what they were talking about the machines too, which is cool. So. Yeah, Larry's Small cool. Engines in Orangeville, Ontario. Thank you very much.
Wild. Yeah, thank you for getting us on that. That's awesome.
Yeah. If you want a quick review of the Lynx Commander, it is. I'll
be posting that video too.
Okay. if you want, if you're in any sort of market where you think that a utility sled is where you're at in your life or where you think you want to get one, I don't see what other utility sled to buy other than a Lynx Commander. Wide track, that really cool flip-up snow flap on it, 180 horse Snoider turbo. It was standing up in like no snow, so it's playful as well.
And
cool.
the blow-off valve and everything is way more intense than what the
I think it's just because
turbo R's have. It's wild.
It doesn't feel as heavy as an XRS 850,
no.
which is weird because it's, wide track 154. But anyways, and here's
get-
a shot of this. People online have already been asking, is this just a sticker on the side of it? No, this is actually like a plastic race number plate that is riveted to the tunnel and on there. And I think it'd be cool. I think people are going to, well, I hope people at least actually do some cool wraps on these. I'd put my own race number on that.
I think I see a lot of comments about asking if it's removable. So I
don't think.
you just drill it out.
Yeah, but you have holes.
But
Unless those are actually the holes where you mount the one-up link bracket seat anyways. Maybe that's what they've done. They've put it where the pre-drilled spots for the two-up seat is.
But I think you're going to see people selling those number plates. But you also see that the bad thing is you're going to see people adding those to their sleds that aren't 20th anniversary ones. So
you know what I've just noticed? Look on the inside of the graphic. I don't know if it'll come off on the stream. That's the little Lynx Radeon triangle. That's on all the Lynx stuff
in
as
the
well.
red. Yeah,
it's actually textured. Huh. Yeah. So it isn't just a blank decal. But anyways, very cool sled. Thanks, Larry's.
Yeah, Chris Watson sent in some pictures and he says, hey, Gary, and drew a few photos on the trails and a bison meal to finish the weekend.
Bison meal?
Yeah, wait till you see it.
What does he mean by a bison meal?
You'll see it. I thought he was eating Wagyu steak there for a second, or tomahawk steaks, but look at this. This Chris Watson's from Quebec, and when he goes riding, they eat like kings. Like this is like his pictures he sends in every week is what you're seeing on screen here. Great group of people he rides with. They're all the same mentality. They ride and they eat well.
Yep, that's cool. I wonder where that is.
Yeah, that's
Did he actually say where he was?
No,
riding?
he did. No, he didn't say.
It's very cool,
but it's pretty wild. There they are out at the sleds talking.
It's cold.
Yeah, very cold. You see the frost on the sleds. Yeah. Look, there's the bison. Isn't that nice?
Oh my gosh.
What kind of food do they eat on the race route, guys?
A little bit of everything.
Whatever they can find.
Yeah.
Whatever they can find.
Each checkpoint has a little something when we go into communities.
Like, is it people local in the community set like cooking for the riders, or are they set to fend for themselves?
Well, here in Lab City, they were so the hotels prepare meals. The White Snowmobile Club is the, I guess, the host for the start line. They provide meals for volunteers and stuff. So,
all along the coast, hotels and wherever they're staying at the checkpoints, they have basic nutrition items to keep them going that are in line with endurance riding, and lots of options for good food along the way. Sometimes they get themselves into a bit of traditional food. Depends on how good their contacts were that they made in the communities.
Yeah, true.
Oh, it's good. As long as they don't just go and stick a polar bear when they're out in the bush or kill a coyote.
That's right.
That should be, that should be a part. If you get an amateur class gets to eat. Pro class has to stick their own food and
that's
hunt
right.
if they want to eat.
You can't have any drones and you can't have any food. You got it. Yeah.
But ptarmigan feathers are encouraged.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking Doug Patterson in the chat. He'd be packing his Hungry Man dinner and cooking it on his exhaust.
No, Dad. I'd put a can and put a muff pot on my sled. Bring sausages in my glove box.
Yeah. Michael DeJulio says, hey, Gary and Drew, I hope you guys are doing both well. Great show this week on the Ski-Doo accessories with Mr. Prudhomme, who was fantastic.
Of course.
Yeah, he's awesome. We'll have to order every one of these new accessories for the 27 Comp Turbo. We love hearing that. I was wondering if Mr. Gibbs was able to mail me the winner's package. I'll follow up on that. I've not yet received anything as of today, Sunday, February 22nd.
Yeah, okay. We'll get in contact.
Yeah. I provided my address and phone number in my previous email. Please let me know if you need anything further from me. Also, a few pics from Monday night episode. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Michael DeJulio. I did send him the stuff.
Did we say? Oh,
but I know he was out riding. Like he went away on a trip to Maine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So no, but also this past weekend was the photo shoot for 2027.
Yeah.
So Corey Jinks, I know was there. I don't know if Corey Jinks in the chat. You could probably say if Buddy was there too.
I'll follow up with him and see. He's always been good, Michael. Like he's always sent people.
Yeah, he did a giveaway last time he was on the show.
Yeah. And with mine, just going back, Tim Weiss got his snow gauge. I still have the other one here because the members only draw. Scooter hasn't sent me any information.
Get in contact with
yeah, I did. It's not the same guy.
Oh, it isn't? Oh,
yeah,
I thought it was.
So anyway, we're looking for Scooter, who's in our membership program, and Scooter K14. Reach out to me because I do have your snow gauge here. That's
Master just confirmed Gibbs was that's where he was last weekend.
Yeah.
So he was busy last week because they left on I think Jinxie was there since like Thursday or Friday. So.
Yeah. Master says, "What a great dealer to let you rip that weapon." Yep.
But we have an even better dealer on next week. Michael DeJulio, you love talking new 2027s. Well, we're going to be talking all 2027 Skidoo next week with Seminar Sports from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I think
they're the biggest dealer.
Not even self-proclaimed, but the #1 and biggest Skidoo dealer.
And the original
ones. He was one of the first ones in the U.S.
Yeah, that's going to be an awesome show.
That's going to be so awesome. I can't wait. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So I got some homework to do this week, I guess.
Chris Watson says that hotel was Clear Lake. It was 225 kilometer to ride to the hotel. Pretty fancy. So here's some more pictures from Michael DeJulio. 2 comp turbos there.
Beautiful.
That's pretty awesome.
2024 or 2025 and a 2026.
You need some Let It Ride stickers. I'll mail you out some stickers, buddy. We'll get them on there.
And then I guess you just threw this in there?
Yeah, I did. I threw this in there from last week because every time we have someone on some Cains Quest, they never send us a route. It's like
we had this 40 minutes of sleep stuff going on.
Yeah,
yeah.
So we know what the route is, so we don't really have to see that.
Well, we saw it on the we walked it through on the digital route.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's one of the maps that we do up. It's just simplified because to a new follower, sometimes it can be a lot of information to understand.
Yeah, and I think you want to take a look at these cities like Nain and like
they're not. Can we call them cities?
And see where it is on a map. Because you won't believe how far north this is. Yeah. I remember when I was told to go to Lab City, I was thinking, oh, Newfoundland, no problem. I've been to St. John's and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I got to go to Montreal and then I got to fly on what to get up there? This little turboprop plane that's, you're sitting there like this the whole way. I'm going,
so that city, Nain at the top there, total population as of 2021 is 1,204.
Yeah.
There you go. No road access.
No, inaccessible by road, only by air or by sea or by sled, apparently, in the winter.
That's right.
Very cool. I think that's kind of the coolest part about Cains Quest is like, it is literally like you're riding to all these remote areas that typically wouldn't have such like a coverage. You said 1.3 million people have looked at that route. Well, that's 1.3 more million people that now know about the craziness of this province than before, right?
True. Yeah.
And know about all these communities. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
A reason to connect.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
that's one of the cool things we like now with the helicopter and the live feed is that it's gonna show people things they've never seen before. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people in Labrador who have never seen the backcountry, west of Nain, and they're going to see that hopefully if the weather cooperates. And even myself, I mean, here I am as a director and one of the organizers, and I haven't seen this country. So I was glued to my phone yesterday when Scott was shooting live stream from the helicopter, and I was mind blown by the size of these lakes.
Yeah, and I think the terrain, you can't imagine it either until that's why I love having the racers on. If they do have pictures of the race, it's like what they're going through, and you can't imagine no groomed trail, but they're going between trees they're the same width as a sled, and it's on a big rock they're trying to traverse up, and you hear about hard enduro, it doesn't even compare. I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty insane,
Don't discredit 6 days like that.
No, 6 days is minus 40.
Yeah, exactly. You got a good point.
Yeah, so
anyways.
Yeah, Kirk sent in a bunch of these pictures, and then you sent me in some, Glenn, as well. So they're not in any order. Do you know the ones that Kirk had sent in?
This looks like a compound at any particular checkpoint. You've got a racer running from his sled to get into to check in here.
That's a video, actually, if you click on it.
Oh, is it actually a video?
Yeah, if you click on it, it'll play.
Oh, cool.
Probably in Toronto, I would say.
Looks that way. It's this year with armbands.
Yeah. So what do they do?
Oh, he's
So this is a checkpoint. They're running in. Like, are they running to beat time, or does he have to go pee really bad?
They're running in to get a good time. Yes.
Okay.
It's
cool.
not registered until you get to that.
And I take it the time's the last racer that crosses from your team.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, cool.
Both racers have to cross the line before it will be recorded.
Right on.
This is where time differentials are done, guys, because we start in 1 minute staggered intervals, right? So in Fairmont, that's the first major community that they come to, and all of that, 1 minute delay up to 17 minutes will be corrected. So that once you leave Fairmont, you're at real time racing. Whoever's in first is in first.
I gotcha. Are the chips on the riders? Is it a GPS chip on the rider for the time,
Is it like
or
a puck or something? You like stuck on them, or?
No, for the time, that's manual, all recorded by GPS time. The tracking is done via electronic device. We are looking into technologies that are economical now that we can use to do electronic timing. I think that's something you'll see in the very near future, as long as we can find an affordable option that doesn't swell the cost
Your
of entry.
vintage race used that.
Yeah.
He had a vintage moto race that used them, an enduro race that used like these little pucks that were stuck to the.
Yeah, you velcroed it onto the number plate, and it would.
Would that just be like near field communication, like NFC, like just like an NFC chip? So it's not even like powered.
They had a scanner you had to hold up to the thing, but it was pretty quick. It was
quite a few athletic events, marathons.
Yeah, for sure.
They use RFID chips and such too. Our clothes works well.
Yeah,
I guess
absolutely.
temperatures. I mean, we had 2 teams come in last night. 4 GPSs crapped out, just shut down in the cold.
Wow.
Well, and that's saying a lot of them have backups of their.
Was local, so he kind of had an idea his way back to town.
Yeah. And a lot of the teams have like redundancy, so they'll have a couple of GPSs that they use just in case something fails, right?
Rowdy was running 2 different Garmin units on their machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Well,
well.
I mean, guys, if your navigation goes down, I mean, you're about as close to shagged as you can possibly get.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go to the next one. There you go. And this is a medical relief, right?
Yeah, this is after a pretty big wipeout, pretty much right off the start line. He's getting his knee taped up. This guy left here a couple hours ago, and is making his way to Nain right now with that knee taped up in the middle of nowhere.
Wow. How many teams start the race? How many teams start the race, and how many teams finish generally on an average, would you say?
Well, it depends on the year. This year we had 18 teams start. We've had quite a few scratches already because of some real rough terrain that was encountered yesterday. But we usually finish better than half the field. I think but not a whole lot more than half the field on a regular year.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I would expect to be a higher scratch ratio than that.
I have to say that it probably should be a higher scratch rate, but the gang that registers is a pretty tough bunch, and they're not in this to cry uncle very fast.
Yeah.
Now look at these gems. This must be one of the vault pictures.
2006, I think we got some T660 Tourings, some fabulous 600 SDI Expedition White Tracks. Looks like a classy Sabercat with Saskatchewan sealskin bindings by the looks of it.
That's awesome.
Some 550 fans in there for good
550
measure.
fans. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's 5.
Well, the race was different, guys. In the early years, this pre-running, there was a lot less of it. And if you found yourself in a big snowstorm in the middle of Labrador on one of those MXZ 128s and 139s, you're not going to get very far.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, because by this by 2006, because I see that there's no actual, like, I think that thing to look at is I don't see any rev chassis, but I don't even think that Skidoo had a long track rev out by 06, like an Expedition or even a mount. I think the Summit was by like 04, 05, but like, you know, like comparing it to like these Articats up front, you're like.
There was a Renegade an 800 HO Renegade on the rev chassis ran that year, and a couple of Polaris 700 Dragons.
Okay, right on. Would this have been more local? Would this have been more local boys in 2006? Like, did it start out as just okay?
And guys, like we're a pretty friendly bunch up here.
Yeah.
Racing wasn't always an easy sell, you know. Getting the mentality across of beating your buddy, you know, was something new.
That's wild.
It's just a cool photo.
Yeah. I think Kirk sent in a couple pictures of volunteers at different stations.
Yeah, this is in Shefferville by the looks of it. These are volunteers up in that community, the northernmost community on Block 1, Day 1 from yesterday. A community just where you cross over the border to Quebec.
Yeah, and they're totally volunteer. Like, you're not paying these guys, are you?
100% volunteer. And in most cases, the community foots the bill for a lot of the effort in these different areas.
Right on.
We're so happy to see us coming.
Really
Amazing.
good. Yeah, love that.
That's me and Todd. Me and my buddy Todd. When we first got involved, I was 28 and he was 48, and now I'm 48 and he's 67, something like that. 68,
Wow.
I think this
He
year.
looks great for 68. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's the good team he has around him, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. So
Todd
what do you
is one
got?
of
What do you
those
two?
guys-
What do you two crazy guys do for kicks now? Like,
What was that?
I said, what do you two crazy guys do for kicks now? Like, how do you top that?
Pull off a big race and half kill ourselves in the meantime, and you know. But Todd's one of those guys who could dive into an outhouse head first and come out smelling like roses every time. and he has an uncanny ability for that. And I gotta say, he's the tight end buttons for all of us.
Yeah. When we were looking at those photos and we were talking about the Lynx Commander, Ron Keslu asked, what does Glenn and Rob ride?
Oh, you know, these skinny tracks, they're for kids. I'm on you name it. I mean, I'm a wide track, super wide track guy. I'm someone who supports myself. So I've got a super wide track Scandic for when I really want to tough it out in 900 Ace. And my girlfriend rides a 24-inch super wide track Expedition 900R. And let me tell you, she can drive.
Yeah.
On a sled.
Man, they're awesome.
I'm riding a Polaris Titan, and I had a Polaris Assault. I lost that to my son.
Right
I
on.
claimed that a few years ago, but yeah, it's great. I've tried pretty much every kind of brand, and I just flip back and forth. I got a lot of great friends with dealers, so I try to share the wealth around when I'm buying.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
You gonna pick up one of those new Polaris wide tracks they just released for next year? Those, I forget what the model is. I don't know if it's under Titan, but it's like
It's a matrix chassis, I think it has.
it's because it uses like it's almost like it has like the front end of the matrix, but then the back it's like it's their version of the Expedition Extreme. It looks pretty sweet.
Something like that.
Yeah, looks pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love my Titan and love the Assault. I've had a couple BRPs, so yeah, I've had pretty much had it all.
Heck of a chassis on that too.
Yeah. Really, I just bounce back and forth. It's whatever in the mood for that year. I've really gotten to tour riding, backcountry riding, like going on trips, like almost like a mini Cains Quest. So I love having a wide track with lots of gear on the back, so I can go for days and not see civilization.
I'm towing 600 and 700 pounds of gear.
Yeah,
I got to go super wide for me.
Yeah. Well, how many kilometers you guys do a year when you ride generally?
About 3,000.
Oh, I'm terrible. I'm involved in Snowmobile Club. I'm involved with Cains Quest. I probably do the least amount of riding than anybody, but I do get that one big trip in a year that kind of puts me up around 2,000 to 3,000.
So so what you're trying to tell us is that you these guys that ride for a few days during Cains Quest are blowing you out of the water for mileage.
Yeah, but the skinny track miles aren't quite the same. It's about the surface area you lay down. Eh?
True. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Sometimes you get so involved in the snowmobile industry when you're planning these events and stuff, like you don't take the time for yourself. And I mean, my son's after racking up a lot of kilometers this year already, and I'm nowhere near what he got. I'll catch up when I have a few big trips, but a lot of times it's hard when you volunteer and you dedicate yourself a lot to the industry and to the sport. Sometimes you don't get your own time on the trails.
No, and Drew and I are the same thing. We could be out riding right now, right? You know what I mean?
There you go.
Yeah, I think you guys are in way deeper than we are, right?
I think so.
This is Penny. Kirk and Penny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. Huh.
She's there with Mike Elliott from Team 6, Northern Legacy Racing.
And is this the staging area or the start area, or what were they doing here?
This is the crown jewel event, Glenn. You tell them.
So this is fan night. Once our racers get into Labrador City a couple days before start day, fan night. So it starts off in the morning with a tech inspection. We check all their safety gear, make sure that they have everything they need to survive in case of emergency. Check their sleds, make sure everything's in order. Their riding gear, tech vest, helmet, all that stuff is checked out. So once that's all done, the snowmobiles are inside the local stadium here in Lab City, and then we'll host a fan night. So this year's fan night, we had all the racers on the floor. We had a future racers booth set up where we had 32 kids with their mini 120s and 200cc bills. It was sponsored by the local police department. They got some T-shirts for the kids. So it was Cains Quest Future Racers. We had some of our local sponsors set up booths. So it was a real community event, and it was a great time. We had a laugh.
So when the kids turn 18, do you guys go drag them out of their house and go, do you remember that shirt that said Future Racer on it? We're cashing it in right now.
Yeah. You owe us. Don't question our methods, only our results, please.
That's right, exactly. We know how it works. They're all GPS tracked.
Fan night is really cool. Fan night's really cool. It's when the sleds look the best, the tech looks the best. The teams get to talk and interact with the fans, show them what they've done. Talk a little bit about strategy, maybe do a little bit of crap talking too in the meantime. And I tell you, they really feel the appreciation when they can have that intermixing with the fans. It's awesome. It's electric.
Very cool. How competitive is it? Like, is there some teams that like are against each other to the point where they're, I won't say violent, but malicious to each other or whatever, or is it pretty friendly where they'll actually, everybody's in it for the same reason and they help each other? How does that work?
There's a lot of camaraderie. We've definitely had some 40 grit sandpaper Christmas card.
Yeah.
Back and forth from a few teams. But the camaraderie is pretty good. But competition is great. And look, we're race organizers, okay? And a key to racing is that you have something you aspire to or somebody that you want to beat. So a villain or two is good for business.
Yeah, that's right.
So we had a case yesterday where a rider went off the trail and another team could have easily just passed on by. They stopped, walked them back into the woods, and they carried on. Yeah.
Nice.
Amazing.
That's actually that MXZ team that's in the front right now. So karma is always goes along with it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's very true, right? Karma is and the reverse of it is you help others, you help yourself, right? That's very cool. Yeah.
And this sled we're looking at right now is currently in second place overall. The team is up there.
Rookies, they're just ripping it up, man.
Rookies.
Right on.
Rookies. Oh yeah, they're flying.
Yeah. Well, they came prepared. They got I think these are backcountry 146s, and they even put the Pro 40 shot kit on Pro 46 shot kit on the front. And
Gen 5s.
Look at that! I don't know what bumper that is, but that bumper's freaking gnarly.
That looks like the BRP heavy duty one, isn't it?
No, because look at it goes under like a aftermarket, but it's not a backwoods or a B pack.
There's a lot of custom made stuff.
Yeah, because even they got like a match on the rear. Look at it, goes right around the tunnel, like it cups the tunnel.
Yeah,
for support. If it didn't do that, that tunnel would Swiss cheese and break off.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Yeah, for
Probably
sure.
all reinforced rails on a long track.
This is awesome. Like the whole picture here, but the mascot's really cool that they've got. But the whole picture shows the buzz that's in that arena right now.
And this is the team that's leading right now. These are the 137s.
1,500 plus people came through there in a few hours.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and Drew said this is the team that's in the lead right now.
Yeah, 74.
Them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Them. He's
Nice.
one of the team members is a second generation racer whose
Oh,
father
wow.
won Cains Quest in 2014.
Right on. Love hearing that. The and does he have to wear that costume the whole race, or do you let
He
him
does.
take it
He'll be
off?
the only one without frostbite, but a very sore neck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at the freaking seat bag.
I know that.
That's what Mike needs for his freaking camera equipment.
Yeah, you know the
And you see
like
you see the tank on the back. That's a lot of guys are using outboard tanks or the 5-gallon link tank, and it's plumbed in directly.
Yeah,
to the vent.
that's what the guys right next to them in the picture, 93 Rowdy Racing, they showed us that last week, how they have the 14-liter tank plumbed right into the gas tank.
Yeah, that started to show up in around 2008, 2009, and lots of trouble with vents freezing up over the years.
Oh yeah.
But they figured it out eventually.
yeah, he was saying it actually takes from that tank first and
then it vents out of that
vents
tank.
out of it, which is really really smart and takes the weight off.
A lot of folks left the vent in the back in the early years, and the vent would freeze, and then you'd have all kinds of problems that you couldn't figure out what was wrong. So the key was to vent it back up under hood where it stayed warm.
Yeah. Right on. So now we're looking at a sled here. What are the do's and don'ts for people when they're building a sled? Like, what would you say are the biggest things that you can and can't do, and what would you
don't overload the tunnel. You know, if you overload behind the seat, you're asking for trouble either from suspension or from tunnel strength itself. That's probably the biggest no-no. You see folks that overthink it, or they don't strategize well, and they're just going all in with, you know, full autonomy on the machine, and they don't put enough research into their mandatory gear and their compactness and how they reduce the size of that, and they end up with a mountain of gear on the back, and those guys never make it far. You look at this machine. There's not a lot behind that seat. They have the seat bag, like you pointed out.
Yeah.
They can jam a lot of gear in that. You got the gas down low and as far forward as possible.
And there's nothing
and
on the back.
likely an equipment bag behind that.
No.
No, that's actually a good point. That's why that big seat bag's nice, because it keeps the weight to the center as much as possible.
Indeed.
Keeps it off the back. You don't want leverage. Leverage and weight is not good.
Over the rear scissors rather than, you know, back over the rear idlers.
Cool wrap on
Now,
this.
they're towing a sleigh the whole way as well, right?
No. They can't be messing around that slow. No.
Oh, okay.
Sport crews will usually be fuel.
A lot of times when they're scouting, you know, they make arrangements for fuel.
I got you. Okay. Is this Glenn's chopper?
No, mine's in the shop.
Flat tire again, Glenn?
Yeah.
Flat tire.
Rotor issues.
Terrible. It's just a sponsor showing a bit of support for their team that's in Fremont.
Oh, that's cool.
Just dropping in to say hello, but not active during the race or anything.
Right on. And this is a nice shot of the road coming in. So was this race day, like move in, or is this before that?
It's a road crossing.
The Twin Falls, yeah. Okay, so
Pretty sure.
that's the Twin Falls road crossing where you make one of those loops and you loop back into civilization where the highway is. So these guys are all there to provide support, whether it be nutrition or parts or fuel, all the above.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
those pictures I sent you guys were this area where you saw the racers fueling up. This was the same area.
Okay, yeah, cool.
There's another shot of it there. There's a sled in the back of this truck here.
There's an X-Terrain with a toolkit open, a socket set open in different windshields. And I assume that's a sled that's for support team, or I hope that's not a.
Yep.
So if you have trouble, like you're out in the, can you phone for someone to come and show up on another sled to bring its supplies?
Absolutely. Support will very oftentimes meet you in the woods with gear to make a repair. The racers have to make all the repairs themselves, but support can bring things to them. Yes.
Okay. Wow. Very cool.
If you didn't have that option, your completion rate would be pretty low.
Non-existent.
Yeah, non-existent.
Yeah. Rob the Auto Guy asks, who is the oldest person riding the race?
This year, I'm not sure.
Right now, or are we talking like
Forever.
Yeah, I guess forever. Like if you know, like what kind of age range?
There's a guy late in the 70s, I believe.
Was that the guy with Bill Boisvert, the partner of Bill Boisvert, or what? No, it was the Team 36. Yeah. Tremblay. What was his first name?
I can't recall. It's in 24 race.
An elderly gentleman who just absolutely loved Cains Quest, and his mentality, I think, was, how else am I going to get up here at my age and enjoy this place unless I'm going to go up with this awesome group of dudes, and I'm going to have a tracker on me, and if anything goes wrong, someone's going to come help me. And I kind of think he was being very strategic with how he was doing it, and almost like he found a loophole that this is the best deal I'll ever have if I want to do this.
If it doesn't work, they'll come get me.
Yeah, if it doesn't work out, someone's going to look at Big Brother Rob's watching.
Yeah. Oh, he's only asking because he just says, Gary, you can do it. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a lot. You'd have to sponsor me. Amsoil would have to pay the $100,000 I need to do the race.
Listen, we've seen the turtle in the hair. We've seen racers who just took their time and avoided damages, avoided accidents, waited for that moment, and made their move and placed well, and made it through. I believe there's a team a few years ago made it through the entire race with 0 broken parts.
Would you say most of the people racing in this are just trying to finish and that's their personal goal, or are there people going for the win? They want the title.
Battle against self, 100%. Battle against self.
Is that right?
You talk to racers, that's one of the first things they say. I just want to finish. Podium be great, but I just want to finish. And finishing is an accomplishment in this race.
Right on.
You know the meme, with the gold, the medals, the gold, and the silver and the bronze, and the guy in the bronze is just biting and loving it. I think finishing is about in that category. Give me the taillight award. I'm gonna party all night.
Yeah, you got it. You don't
respect the racers get who don't get to finish because they have mechanical issues or medical issues. They are still so respected for even trying.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
Because it's tough.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. Does someone like Brady go and help other teams now that he's done, or what does that typically look like?
He would be a rock star even if he didn't finish. He'd still be a rock star in this area just for trying.
Yeah. Pretty wild. Maybe that's saying Drew and I can take his sleds and run in 2028.
Well, that's the goal. So you just enter, you get all the praise and all the accolades from your hometown. It's all the fanfare, everybody's loved you, and you're just like scoots out of town, and I'll cut your belt off or something, or jabs what you guys think. Like, we're done.
Yeah, darn, that's right.
That's right. Yeah. Where's
the hotel, please?
Where are those Hungry Man dinners I heard so much about?
Yeah.
These are the Arctic Cat teams you got in the photo there now that they're fueling up. Looks like at a roadside stop as well.
Yeah, cool.
You see the bumpers on them? Zoom in on those bumpers. Those are pieces of art.
I don't know.
All tied up.
Easily
just drag that picture bigger in the frame.
Yeah, I can do that. Maybe.
Let's grab one of the handles.
The custom fab there is otherworldly.
Wish you could just fucking stupid friggin' Apple.
Yeah, because we're using like a PowerPoint keynote for it, but now you can hit full screen.
You can kind of see it.
There we go.
That's all integrated into the chassis to give you that breakoff strength, right?
Yeah. Very cool. These guys look cool.
There you go. There's your frost helmets. That's Team 6, the same team you were just looking at in Fenley.
Oh, cool.
That's Mike Elliott on the right.
And that's not a white helmet around the mouthpiece.
Yeah, no. That's the way my oxygen helmet gets, and then it doesn't snap shut.
Yeah, you're not going to run a flow visor in this.
No. Those things look like Advex without a visor on it. You know what?
Or those exomes.
Or exomes, maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
Poor guys. They're probably freezing to
Look
death.
at the frost down the front. Look at the frost on the front of Mike's jacket from last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the. Yeah, that's not dirt or salt. That's.
I thought you guys were handing out the jelly donuts or whatever, and he just had his fill.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh
Yeah, I can't imagine. But you know, your bodies are probably warm from moving around on the machine a lot. But it looks like these guys are wearing like welding gloves. Or like, what do you think about the equipment? Like, what do you suggest?
So that's phenomenon in Labrador. These are known as hydro mitts, and they are very warm gauntlet mitts, and they wear very well. They're very, very tough, and they're very, very warm, and we all love them. And that's what you see a lot of these guys wearing. They're very warm, very tough, and very effective. Believe it or not.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And bunny boots is the other thing that you guys wear, right?
More Alaskans than us, but great assortment of really warm rubber style boots, Baffins, Nats. You really got to step it up to a very warm boot if you're going to make it up here, and you got to have that ability to handle water, because at any moment on any of these lakes that we're talking about, you could have a foot or 16, 18 inches of slush.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would have a. Yeah.
Now, would these guys, these two helmets are newer helmets, would they be plugged in? Like, would they have their heated visors going? Or I know Chris Holmes said you don't, I think he was using a battery powered goggle because he had control over that. But if your cord or your USB plug breaks on your RCA plug on your sled breaks with a heated visor, you're screwed, right? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, hearing you say that, that sounds like a definite jinx, because I was talking to Chris this morning, and they had issues with their GPS, and Chris was having problems seeing because his lens was fogging up, and then of course iced up. And I asked him about his cord, and they broke all the cords they had. Plastic is just getting so cold, and it's just everything's just breaking.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. You can't move.
Guys, so it's funny you mention it.
You had quite a few people last night come in with visors up.
Yeah.
And I think it was probably from damaged cords, getting surprised by drift every now and then at high speed, and just, again, look at these guys' helmets and the rims around them. That level of frost will break just about anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think they've had that, especially the shorter guy on the right there. He must have had his crack, because you can see the inside is definitely white on that thing. That's wild. Have guys got to the point where they've done the pre-run and just not even started the race? Like, has that ever happened where people sign up thinking, yeah, I'm going to come from, Trumbull, Ontario and run this thing, and I go out there and pre-run and go, oh my God, like, I'm going to die out here.
I'm not sure. I think it's more along the lines of maybe people who don't pre-run it and they show up blind and then realize what they've gotten themselves into, and with no shame to these guys, they did the best that they could, but maybe didn't realize the scale and the distances that we're dealing with. We had a couple of guys, I remember one year, came up on 121s in a big snow year, and luckily the camaraderie ran deep, and they hauled him out of there and got him into safety. But to show up and not know what you're getting into, and it's probably the more likely scenario, and just don't last long.
Yeah.
Imagine showing up on a 121-inch and you're looking around at that arena shot with all the sleds. You go, man, there's a lot of long tracks, and 146 is here. Did you think we brought the wrong sleds?
Yeah, that's right.
This guy's got a 2.5-inch paddle track on his X-Terrain. I think we might have brought the wrong sleds. He's got like an ice ripper, no studs.
I forgot my gloves at home. Will I be all right?
That'd be him.
Yeah.
He'd forget his cable to plug the helmet. It wouldn't be the helmet cord breaking. It would be Ontario still.
Yeah. I've got
be like, where's my key? I thought didn't you put it in the sled? No. Didn't you put it in the sled? No.
Yeah. There'll be a category for that as well. Yeah. But as far as what you can do to the sled, like there's no weight limits or horsepower limits or anything like that. You run what you bring.
More
right?
horsepower, more problems.
That's been the mentality. Yes, you run what you brought.
because there's really no advantage because, like you said, a lot of it's shit luck, and I mean, there's
it is, and you've seen the weapon of choice. I mean, we do have one team running big turbo Sidewinder Yamahas, and I mean, you know, if they're in a fast section and that thing is coming behind you, he's gonna suck you in the grill and spit you out. I don't care what you're on, but you know, if you're running at that speed, then you know your likelihood of big damage goes up too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's Chris Holmes, I think, has the Sidewinders, doesn't he?
Chris is in,
yeah,
1943.
Yeah, and he's they're serious, but I mean, you have a disadvantage of weight, and you know where that MXZ is going to be a lot more nimble than what the Sidewinder would be. But like you said, it's going to have the legs in the lake and less risk of it blowing up too.
What was last week? Brady talked about that. They switched from the 852 stroke to the 4-stroke 900 because he's like, those 850s don't stay together for very long on when you get out in the ocean and you're holding them. You can't hold them wide open at long speeds. The 4-strokes will reel you in.
Yeah.
So if you want to win, you got to basically those new 4-stroke long tracks are the way to go.
It's always interesting seeing what the racers pick, because they're picking their sleds obviously months in advance, having no idea if they're going to be dealing with a fresh snowfall of a couple feet or it's going to be hard packed ice. They don't know what they're going to get. So trying to find that sled that's like that fine balance between anything Mother Nature can throw at it and it can handle it. There is no, I don't know if there is a perfect pick because you don't know what you're going to get.
We've had white tracks win it. We've had 4-strokes win it. We've had 2-strokes win it. We've had 600s win it.
Yeah.
Particularly when the 600 E-Tech first became prominent around 2009. We had one team kind of creep in out of nowhere, and because they had better range, you know, they were able to be quite successful.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I picked a Commander.
Yeah,
That's my pick.
That Commander with the 900R.
I think we'll see a Commander next year. I'll be surprised, or next race.
Because they were new for this year, so probably nobody would even have had them prepared. Because a lot of your racers prepare like years and a couple, like when the people start preparing for the next race after this one finishes, kind of thing, right? So you kind of want to probably have your machine picked, and stuff.
Like,
and the Commanders came out this year, so nobody would have something like that. Expedition Extreme, same thing. It came out this year as well, but.
Extreme's been around for a while, but the Commander's only been available lately. They usually pick their snowmobile in the same year of the race, just so that it's new and latest and greatest. But you're right; they start planning their accessories and their gear long in advance.
Yeah. Very cool.
He looks warm. He's in an oxygen.
Yeah, there's an oxygen helmet. See, I didn't think you could go. And that's why I didn't sign up, because
you
they
clear
told me
motion 6s on his helmet.
I know they told me I couldn't go with my oxygen helmet, and here they are.
They said an always plugged in helmet would be a death wish.
Yeah, that's my only chance was this race, you know, and I didn't sign up because I didn't have the helmet of choice, and now I do. So, yeah.
This is one of the giants on Team 7.
He's a big guy.
Look at the trailer next to him.
Do with that big boy.
Yeah. Look at the trailer next to him. I know he's a few feet back from it, but still, he's in frame there.
Yeah.
That's Matt Bennett and Ryan Conley. You wouldn't want to meet them in too many alleys. It's snap you in two.
I never seen so many people happy about putting gas in a snowmobile than I have in these photos, though.
Oh, he's having the time of his life.
You know?
You'd be happy, too, if you only needed one hand to put a 5-gallon can in your snowmobile.
Yeah, that's right. It's all right. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
This third line.
And it's the 20th anniversary. It's the 20th anniversary this year. What kind of things have they done differently this year than in the past?
You notice on the start line, so there's a couple flags there in the foreground that they're this year's flags. I believe one has Rio Tinto on it, and then you get the black ones there just behind those. Those are the most recent flags before those, and then the white ones were before those, and the yellow ones were going back. We figured 12, 13 years. So we dug out the C-Can trailer, and when we were setting up for the race, we found some old flags, and we're like, oh, perfect, 20th anniversary. Let's bust all this stuff out. So, I mean, that's probably 10 to 12 years or more of our 20 years of racing right there on that start line.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and that's the mine. The Rio Tinto IOC is the mine I was talking about. There's flags everywhere, so they must be great supporters for you guys.
Big sponsors.
Yeah, that's awesome. They must have a lot of employees that are involved in it too, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'd say half our board are IOC members.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Or connected in some way, at the very least, or working for a contractor who's in mind.
The schedule too. The schedule is amazing. You know, with the type of schedule they work, they get a nice bit of free time during the week in the wintertime, and that's very valuable time for these guys.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
It's another picture of the cats with the big Baja designs, windshield mount light. A lot of folks mounting those now on ram mounting systems. Pretty cool, because if you take a spill, two things. One, it's just on a ram mount, so you can realign it again without breaking it. And if your windshield breaks away or needs to be changed, it's just a 2-wire SAE connector, and away you go.
Yeah, sweet. He's got a lot of weight on the back of this one.
Yeah, well, some will have more, some will have less. I'm not sure what's on the top of the back there. It looks like snowshoes, maybe.
Oh yeah, it could be.
He's got a whole.
What generally do you guys weigh the sleds for shits and giggles, or you just look it over for general safety equipment, that type of thing? Like, what does a sled like this weigh when it's all decked out and fully loaded?
It's mandatory gear that we focus on, not the overall weight. But I mean, there's with the reinforcements and everything else. I mean, risk kids too, right, guys? I mean, ice age rails, braces, additional gussets and such. Even in on each side of the tunnel, if they don't use aluminum for the rear bumpers, that can add up pretty fast.
Right.
I don't want that guy, so I don't even know what a ski track weighs anymore.
Yeah.
What would a Renegade XRS 146 weigh these days?
520, 530 in an 850. I think that yeah. And then your X-Train 900 Turbo would be like 560 ish, because they're like 40 more. They got 40 pounds or 60 pounds on a Skidoo.
I'd say just your mods and gussets and such are going to add 40, 50 pounds, and then your gear probably that again.
Yeah, definitely.
And then if you're configured in such a way, you've got your buddy tank there on the back for 5 gallons of fuel.
My whole thought with this in the racers adding so much weight is I wouldn't want to have the weight, like I'd want to keep the weight as low as possible with all my extra gear, because if I got stuck, I wouldn't want to be lifting that extra weight on top of the machine's weight, especially when you're already fatigued from riding for 10 hours that day.
Yeah, but it's a fine line, right? There's a mandatory gear that you have to take, and if you don't have that additional range and all other competitors do, and you're constantly hunting for fuel, and what if that waypoint is not 100% accurate? You can't find your fuel, and you have no other option. The buddy tank can really bail you out in a lot of situations.
Yeah.
What if we do get that snowstorm and your fuel burn goes way up? Without it there, get yourself in trouble in a hurry.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
You see some guys on long runs, they'll take if you want to go back to that last photo,
Yeah.
you'll see guys, in addition to what you're seeing there, behind the back of the boot and the front of the bumper there, they'll put a 5-gallon skinny tall boy can each side, and sometimes they'll have a little bracket set up there to hang it on, or they'll just literally strap it on solid. And sometimes they'll put, depending on the range, half a can on one side and half a can on the other, or 2 full cans. They'll have to go slow for a period of time, but they'll get through.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, no bullshit says you want to keep the gear as low as possible. Well, there's only one place, and that's behind the seat. Where else are you going to keep the gear?
Yeah,
That's true.
He's right. In the case, that you really got to step back and think about it. We've seen all kinds of neat scenarios over the years. Like I said, the innovation is pretty nuts. Back in when the XP chassis was first introduced, you're on an 800R just drinking fuel. You would see a lot of custom-made aluminum gas tanks that would only be about 4 inches high, and they'd have rails on both sides for all the gear. And that would kind of be integrated into the tunnel, into a tunnel reinforcement many times. Wow. And then they would plumb that into their tanks, and they would put your gear on top of this low-slung fuel tank.
I got you.
Pretty wild level of effort.
Yeah. See, that's the other thing. Chris Holmes said I wasn't allowed to bring my milk crate on the back full of stuff.
This sounds like excuses. This sounds like excuses.
I'd be using pack outs.
Well, Chris's Sled in Toronto, he even had a little loop just to hold his rubber mallet for knocking the ice on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The one picture does have a pack out on the back.
Someone actually did it, because that's what I'd be running. Waterproof locking. I'd be running Milwaukee pack outs.
Yeah, Milwaukee pack out would be the game changer here, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Get an SSM mount for it, or
Work.
oh, those are freaking Gen 4 there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's sometimes you'll see a Gen 4 pop up. You know, you remember you can race what you bring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that actually might be it.
That actually is actually newer though. That's a backcountry before they switched to Gen 5. So that's not that old of a sled.
Okay.
Dave says, how long have some people had to wait to get rescued when they broke down in the middle of nowhere?
That's a good question.
Well, that's we have had a couple of cases in the past. Generally, it's very quick. Okay, we have emergency protocols in place, but we are still a very remote area, and we don't have infinite resources. And even when we ask for resources to be retasked or repositioned to help us with that, governments and emergency response organizations have other commitments that they have to own up to as well. So we did have a couple of teams a few years ago that were held up in the Amelia Mountain Park area, and it was a really bad situation where the winter let go. It became very, very mild. Streams and brooks started to wash out, and they got stuck in a lot of overflow slush. It wasn't really cold outside, but they were wet, and there was a lot of freezing drizzle for days on end. And even a cormorant from 103 Squadron in Gander really couldn't do anything to reach them. And we had to wait for the weather to improve. I think it was 24 hours or so before we could get anybody into them. Wow. And kudos to the air crews that got to them in that amount of time. But that's why the mandatory gear is there, right? To be able to, there's food in that, there's a tent in that, something that's going to get you by for a little while.
Yeah, wild. Rob, the oil guy said, is the...
was this...
no, about classes. Is everybody in the same class?
One class, equal playing field.
I'd like to think Glenn is a much more classy individual than I am.
Yeah,
it's more like people, young,
like a teacher in the summer.
Wide tracks, short tracks. Like it's just everything is just. I love coming up to fan night and seeing for the first time.
Right.
What is the choice? What is the set of choice this year? Why did you pick this make and model? Why did you put these options on? And I remember one of the first times I came up when the race was getting really competitive. I expected to come in and see some of these guys who were like hitting the gym really hard. They're chiseled young guys ready to go, ready to rock. And I walked in and there was these guys 50, 60 years old who haven't been to the gym, and they're just die-hard, hardcore riders, and they can ride for days. And so it kind of throws out the window this being in phenomenal shape to do this race, because some of the winners, no insult to them, they're not in phenomenal shape. They're just hardcore riders, and they can ride a sled for long periods of time.
I mean, look at Hibbert. We had Rex Hibbert, Paul Dick, run a few times. And I mean, I saw these guys first time. I thought we were going to have to peel them off an iceberg somewhere, dead. And they jumped on, and they got on a couple of crossfires, and buddy, they could make those things motor for days on end. And I remember racers saying to me, "How in the hell can these guys keep up to me? I'm busting my ass." Yeah, and these guys are right on my tail. We stopped for a minute. They're right there, and they're coming at us. Paul had a kind of a hunched over posture when he drove, but boy, that didn't slow him down. I can guarantee you that. It was amazing to see how much ground they could cover and how consistent they were, and how much knowledge they had of racing in general. And what a difference! They actually influenced many racers when it comes to strategy and the way that they approach the race, based on how successful they were.
Absolutely. No, those guys can rip for sure.
That's the end of the photos.
Yeah, that was the end of the photos that you guys sent in. That was pretty awesome. But yeah, what an experience you guys are dealing with out there. Yeah,
it's just wild.
Thank you for doing what you do too. I mean, it takes a village to do a
And it's not a big
race
village.
like this.
It's not a big village. And you guys pull it off.
I think what you guys should do is probably for 2028, you should come down and do a show on location, get a feel
might
for it, and
enter
then
it.
decide if you want to do it yourself. You know,
Set
kind
up
of
a-
ease into it.
Set up a booth at fan night.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Man, right in the middle, you'd love it.
That'd be
You'd love it.
awesome.
It's electric.
Yeah.
Well,
I
we've
brought
been
my son up this.
we've also been talking
And,
about wanting to go out there and ride, so we could probably link that up. You go out there, ride a few days before Cains Quest starts, and then
Yeah, I'd like to do snow escapes like Kirk and Penny's tour one day. That's not near where you guys are running this race. Like I think that type of, when you get into the Cains Quest area, you've got that one thing, right? But it would be so cool, you know. Scan that membership QR code up there. And it'll send us on our way. We'll try and get there.
You guys wouldn't feel awkward like pulling up to my super wide track on your little skinny track machine.
No,
because my 2018.5 600R with 14,000 kilometers is getting entered.
That's right, exactly. My 850 with probably at that point in time with
25,000 kilometers on it. Yeah, no, she's ready
We'll
to
be
go.
doing it. I'll be the oldest guy running the race. And I'll have the highest K.
and you'll be bringing Isoflex for your bottom end bearing, and you'll be doing it middle of the race.
Yeah. Sponsored by Robaxaset.
Which, as long as he doesn't get his Isoflex injector and his ibuprofen injector.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Which one is the preparation H and which one's the toothpaste?
Exactly.
Which one's a toothpaste? Yeah. That's a bad one.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's really good. And shout out where people can follow you on Instagram, Facebook,
Facebook.
and the website again, just so people know.
Yeah, so we're CainsQuest.com. We're on Instagram. We have a Facebook page. Yellow Brick app is where you get that map that you guys showed the viewers a little while ago.
Yeah, for sure.
That's our main ones.
Yep.
And like I said, we just ventured into live feeds from the helicopter. This is brand new, thanks to Starlink. So if you really want to see what kind of terrain and country, like, go ahead and check out some of those videos.
Between Newfoundland and Scott Grant, you guys are doing a fabulous job. I mean, it's just incredible what we've been able to see and being put out there in social media wise. It almost feels like you have full-time coverage, like the car style, and it's amazing the stuff that you guys are doing there to promote the event from Labrador.
I think that your new live footage is going to be the thing that's going to tip the scale on this thing.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get more noticed out there with that type of footage, and people can see how gruesome it really is. And I think that's, once people see that, then the reality hits, and you'll go. Hopefully people will start to see, because someone said, I can't believe no one's covered this race. And
Yeah.
I think that's where you'll get the people going, this is serious shit. We got to send a TV crew in there to do this, right? Michael DeJulio says, Glenn, will the $100,000 winner purse ever be increased?
I think with exposure of the race, and that's one of my goals is more exposure to the race. I mean, you know, the Americans have the Iron Dive. I want Canadians to have the Cains Quest race in Labrador. So yeah, with that increased exposure comes sponsors, donors, you know, contributors at all levels. So then, yeah, if more money's coming in, the better prize purse gets. But right now, we are the biggest prize purse in snowmobile events in Canada.
All right, on. Now, is there a cap of how many racers can actually enter the race?
That's usually a race-to-race decision based on each board, how much they want to take on. My first race, I think we have 46 racers, the 2024. This year we started off at 20, lost 2, we're down to 18. I don't know, sure, Rob, what the most has been.
We ran 50 teams.
Yeah, 50 teams 1 year. So
when I was chairperson in 2020.
Yeah.
And that was, I got to be honest, that was you're on the rev limiter at that point when it comes to your resources and your emergency response capabilities. For, you know, the board doesn't really grow in size, and the logistical challenges don't shrink on that map.
Yeah.
So I think the sweet spot is probably, you know, between 30 and 40, somewhere in there.
That's normally a discussion. We talk about 30 to 40 being the ideal number. Because you got to realize, too, some of these remote communities we go to, if there's a layover, we need to find accommodations for 40 teams and support crews. Plus, a lot of these communities are mining communities or they have other industries going on. So the hotels can be filled up pretty quick. So logistically, there is some major challenges there when you start getting too big.
When the racers are on a layover, they staying at like a Holiday Inn, or they staying at houses, or what are they doing?
Yeah. It's a variety, I guess. We have hotels, gymnasiums, community centers. It's whatever's available. Some staff housing at some of the at the mining locations and the Churchill Falls CFLCO. So a lot of these places, we make do.
We've had to kind of vary the way the course runs because of communities' limited ability to hold racers. We do something called flex time, where you can choose for certain sections of the race how much flex time you want to use, because we just couldn't park all the teams in any one of these communities. There's only about 4 or 5 locations in all of Labrador that could hold us all.
Yeah.
So we've had to be a little bit innovative with our approach to allow the race to pass through communities and still be fair to all competitors.
All right, on. Iron Moose says he loves the race, wishing the organizers lots of success. Brap. And he says he follows Scott Grant, and it's awesome.
Yeah, Scotty's something else. Any Glenn?
Scott is he's a bit of a rock star. So I'm from Corner Brook, and Scott's from Steady Brook, just outside Corner Brook. So I can't even begin to describe what he brings to the race. I mean, for years, the race has always been about, it's not a spectator sport. It really isn't. You can't see this race for the most part. You see the racers coming and going from a few communities, but the bulk of the run is in no man's land, and no one's watching it. No one's around to see it. So Scott's captures have been key for promoting the race. So now Scott is in the helicopter, camera in one hand, cell phone in the other, live streaming on Facebook. We've recruited our paramedics. God love them. They've been beautiful. Because when Scott breaks out his camera and he takes some pictures, the paramedics are in the background taking over Facebook live stream, and they're just, Foreman and Chopper, and the pilot is doing his thing. The paramedics are shooting live video, and Scott's taking photographs. So now having that combination of the live stream and the photographs together is going to be cool. Because the photographs, a lot of times, after Scott's got a full week on the road, he gets home, it's editing photos, and we're throwing the photos out for the fans to see. But the race hype is now gone. It's over. So now
we got to feed them when they're hungry, and that's what with Starlink now. That's what we're able to do. It's incredible.
Yesterday was 1.3 million views, and I'm not even sure what we're up to today. But give me a second and see what we got.
That's awesome. While you're doing that, Chris Watson says it's on my bucket list to do it and to watch it, and he watches it.
Well, I hope they're he's seeing more than he's ever seen before, and that's the key thing. Even for me, I mean, here I am on the organizing committee, and I'm seeing video from the helicopter live streaming at the terrain that the races are on. They're not just a dot on the map anymore. Yeah.
Michael DeJulio says, "Great job, guys. He loves the passion."
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So we're not done for today yet. We're at 1.1 million views for today. So
that's good.
I think a lot of that's going to do with the live stream.
That's awesome. No, I wish you guys all the best. Keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully, I wish all the racers a safe journey and safe return to the finish line, and look forward to seeing our mighty Skidoos come out on top again.
Absolutely. And on this end, we're very happy to be involved, very happy to host this, and really wishing all the racers the best success for safe and quick return home.
Yeah, and we appreciate you guys coming on tonight. We appreciate you guys coming on tonight too. I mean, you've got a lot on the plate right now in the heat of the race, the heat of the moment. So, thank you for sharing that while it's happening.
So will we book your rooms for 2028?
Okay.
All righty.
You tell IOC that Gary and Drew are looking for a big sponsor for the trip. Get those flights set up.
We'll get you here.
Yeah, awesome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, thank you so
Like I
much.
said, I mean, it'll be one thing for you guys to race someday, but just to be here and be part of the festivities and the hype, I think you guys would love it. I brought my son up with me. It's his first time coming up. He was an hour and he's like, man, this is awesome. He said, now I get why you. He's like,
Yeah, I mean, start line is like the sturgeon.
Yeah. No, we'd have a hoot doing that for sure. We'll try and figure it out. That'd be awesome.
you got 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years to plan it.
Yep.
2 years for you guys to find me a sponsor, get Kirk on it, and away we go.
All right, we need to go check out some racers, see what they're doing.
Yeah,
Thanks
for
for your
sure.
time.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Take care now,
Be
guys.
good. Take care. Yep.
It's a journey.